There we go.
Heck yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
You're greeted with your usual 4 hosts.
Yeah, totally, usually
Yeah.
4 hosts here. 4 hosts, totally. Alright, well,
The sound
since
is much
Jason
better
usually
here.
starts the introductions, I'm gonna start this time. Hi, I'm Becky.
Hi, I'm Jason.
I'm Logan.
And then
Oh, there
I was
we
like,
go.
Logan died.
Oh.
Oh no. Did I die or did?
No, I was gonna say, you totally could have died. Hi. Did you catch us with your pants down? No, unfortunately not. I guess fortunately not.
Oh.
Anyway, to all the new people, the very large amount of new people. Hi, we're CephalonChat. We stream and do nothing but pretend like we are professionals at a video game when we're not. So
Experts at
there's
voicing
that.
our opinions. Which are
Yeah,
always
experts at sharing opinions and roasting each other. It's really about all we've got. Anyway, welcome everyone to the stream. So usually how we do these pretty cool things is we just have a little, housekeeping thing we do at the beginning. To the people who are like in our Discord server, well, it's kind of obvious who our surprise guest is now that we've been
Yeah, sorry, I
slowly hyping up. But so any sort of housekeeping, we have a Discord, we have a Twitter. We're there semi-regularly, so you can come join us. It'll be cool. Let's see. Deadlock's been out for about a week, so Jason's already farmed out the entirety of Protea, all the weapons,
All the
and
weapons,
literally
everything.
has nothing else to get. So far, there hasn't been as many hot fixes as the last big update that came and happened. We don't speak of Scarlet Spear.
2 hot fixes in 2 weeks? Or a week? Sorry.
Instead of like 3 hot fixes in the same day.
Yeah.
Day for a week.
Yeah, so we're really vibing with the new Deadlock protocol. It's pretty fun. I still don't have Protea, even though Jason farmed her out in like a sitting, honestly.
Yeah, I just went to town for her. I really wanted her, but I didn't want to buy her, even though I do have the plat to buy her.
That's a fair point. I could always buy her instead of grind.
But that why would you
Shall
not
not be
just do
mentioned.
the grind and then like later complain about okay. Besides the point.
Well, you do the grind, so then you can complain that there's nothing to do.
Yeah, you do the grind, and then
It's
once the
simple.
grind is done, then you just complain about
You do the
nothing.
grind, then the grind does you.
The grind does you. Oh, man.
Got him.
So loud.
Let's see, looking at the chat.
Real quick, I want to thank everyone who just followed. We got, holy cow, Game
God.
Prodigy, XandyPants, Little Wolf 09, XandyPants again, Alicia Cat, I think, Trevor B, and some loser called Jab, and Espa9. Thank you everyone for dropping us a follow.
I was
Means
so
a lot.
confused for a second when you said
Very
some
much
loser called 9. I'm like, why are you roasting the new people
Rascus
already?
Forever, Scorcher646, thanks guys.
But wait.
Yeah,
no, I'm
it's
sorry. I'm looking
hard.
at your name and I'm not even going to be able to. I apologize.
It's our number 1 fan.
Feather of the
Epic
Crow,
Redeemer.
thanks a lot.
Epic Redeemer, number 1 fan.
That's one of my favorite memes. So
Oh, man. Good meme.
I think when that pops in and doesn't just say it. Does it mean
and doesn't just
Yeah.
lurk. Anyway, other cool updates with Warframe. If you haven't seen it today, there is the Cephalon Jokathon contest, which I have no words for it. I'm excited. I can't wait to unroll my large inventory of puns and just make one and hopefully get it added into the game. If you haven't looked at it, top 3 people get their jokes added into the game for Ordis to say. Top 5 get prizes. You have until July 2nd. I feel like Logan, our resident funny man, should have comedy, but his comedy involves memes that still say bottom text, so it's okay. So I'm the one carrying the torch this time around.
Yeah, we'll get something going.
We'll get
This
something
has to be a
going.
Warframe related meme, so we'll have some good ones. We've made some pretty stupid puns about Warframe, right?
Probably. I know I've probably said some, and then like Jason promptly left a call or something like that.
You can at least even, yeah. You can go through the weapons and go from there.
Yeah. I think it has to be like generic enough, like you can't make a pun specifically about whatever Warframe you're like whatever Warframe you want or something. I feel like it's got to be like generic enough so it could apply to anyone, but also just funny enough, like a good knee slapper.
I think so. I was thinking about it like a minute ago, and I was thinking that Ordis going look at them and then like in the corrupted Vor's voice, and then like, they'd be like, I don't know what came over me.
That'd be kind of funny. Also, I don't think I ever want to see the phrase that Pixel Piranha has sent in this chat. That's cursed. It's all cursed.
Bottom sigil.
Bottom sigil. Everything's cursed. No, stop.
It's like you trying to pronounce Cat's name. It's like you. Whoops!
Can you pronounce it?
Cthulhu.
Whoops! Oh no, he's here. Whatever. It's fine. Xandy, take them back. They're gonna summon. They're gonna
No
summon.
man,
out
my regulars are they're like barnacles. Humble but adamant. You'll never get them off.
humble but adamant. I think that's how I describe my anxiety.
Oh,
Humble but adamant.
Okay, so looking for us, it says it can be joke or pun. So
Joke or pun, man.
got a little.
Some of them were
creative.
okay. Some of them were like real groaners. Like on the dad joke meter, there were like 6 or 7s on there, and some of them were like 1 where it's like a like a exhale. It's great.
oh no! Someone mentioned my sweet potato.
What is
Your
your
sweet
what's
potato?
your sweet potato?
Well, no, listen. You should get to run your stream the way you normally do. I won't take over early lunch with Konzu with my delicious mapriko. I mean, sweet potato.
That's no,
It- it-
stop.
It can be a recipe for later. Chat. It did not turn out to be a sweet potato.
Oh, something deep inside me wishes for context, but I know
you're
don't
at a
need it.
crossroads. You can find out, or you can go on wondering.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna find out.
But not.
I want to
Wait, Can we
know.
find out later?
Yes, we
Or
can
is
find
this
out
gonna-
later.
Or is this going to be our early lunch with Kanzu segment? It's going
No.
to be
We can
sweet
find out
potato.
later. Chat. The way Pixel's trying to explain it just makes it more confusing. Like you just know even less now.
That makes it sound much
He
scarier.
baked and ate
A mystery vegetable.
Where'd you get it?
Where did you get a mystery vegetable?
No, we're
Yo,
not
you
asking
know.
these questions.
Exactly, sweet potato with konsu.
Sweet
Early
potato.
lunch with Konzu. Sweet potato with Konzu.
Early lunch is just the sweet potato. That's it. That's it. That's what he eats for lunch. Sweet potatoes and probably
I think we've seen
Idle Encores.
the capture target.
He eats the capture targets.
what the hell?
Tower meat. Ew.
Tower-
God.
okay, but
Tower
yeah,
meat.
that is what they eat though.
You guys think the tower meat tastes good?
What about?
I bet
second
it does.
breakfast?
I've spent late nights thinking about the tower meat. If you know what I'm saying.
Like the sounds it makes when you flay it
Disgusting.
off. Disgusting.
Early lunch for Konzu.
Early lunch for Kanzu, we say, as we go on to second breakfast for Kanzu doesn't have as much of a good ring.
Doesn't have the same punch, yeah.
Tower meat is what I call meat.
Zalvarus, thanks for the follow, man.
Tower meat is what I call my. That's enough.
That's a very good name. Some loser called Jab.
Dirty pear-tato thing wielding Galaxion at you and trying desperately to roll. Y'all. The quills eat the eidolons we capture.
Ah, yes.
God. That's
What
hide for this.
Bruh, I wouldn't want
It's
to
like
eat
Barrow
any of the
probably
eidolons.
eating cryotic.
Barrow eats cryotic. No one can tell me otherwise. Barrow eats cryotic. And what he doesn't eat, all the prisma-plated nonsense is just cryotic. Change my mind.
Exactly, Cat. She eats the capture targets.
She eats the capture targets. I don't want to know what Lotus does. I don't care. Lotus is a war criminal just like everybody else in this game.
Like the rest of us.
Too true. Mass slaughter.
It's just
Mass slaughter.
Yes.
Mass slaughter.
Yes, that does mean the
Slaughter.
Cyber is just Food Hammer.
big popsicle kind of.
Food Hammer? That's my new band name. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Lollipop. Oh my god. Fishy delicacies.
Ah, yes, that's what it was. Barrow eats fishy delicacies. Wasn't it like the Mars, like jellyfish from Mars or something like that? Martian jellyfish? I think that's what it is.
See,
Becky
Jab,
needs to
I
have
like
the grand
that.
kitchen knife. Yeah.
I like the theory about the eating the ducats. However, we're pretty sure, honestly, we just think ducats are like the pop tabs on like soda cans. That's all they are. That's it. They serve no other purpose. Why do we even bother getting them? Why can't I just rob Barrow Katir?
It's the wrapper when you open a pack of relics. You give it to him.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here I go kill it.
It's the plastic when you pop open the chip bag and there's 3 little relics.
Honestly,
You just give him those.
guys, Barrow obviously has a ship where he just lurks and stuff. Why
He's
can't
the
we
trash, man.
He's the honestly, I eat garbage.
See, that's in the lore that we haven't seen too. Barrow has to have a ship to get to the different relays.
Can't we just like track down his ship and then just rob him blind? What has Barrow Katir ever done for us?
We hold him up at the TennoCon relay. TennoCon that was delayed until August 1st.
Yeah.
He's still coming at the time he was going to come anyway, though.
Oh, that's
No, I
right.
thought
Yeah.
they
No.
moved it.
He's coming. He's coming for both
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Y'all, I need to buy that.
Probably for legal reasons because it was included in the thing. You know, like we bought a thing that gives us game content.
Yeah.
So for legal reasons, we have to get the thing we bought.
Well, I didn't buy.
Well, I mean,
shit.
I didn't buy it because I
Do
got
you know?
it for free. But
Do you know? Oh yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah,
cool.
don't flex on us.
Yeah, look
Hey, well,
at
as of today, I'm
that.
not a Warframe partners.
Just like the rest of us.
About that
Talk
later.
about that later. Yeah.
That's coming up soon.
Later.
Do we want to move into the interview, or are we?
I think we've early lunched enough.
Yeah, I think we've early lunched enough. Although we didn't go fishing, I forgot to. We forgot to do that.
You know what? We were too busy focusing on sweet potatoes, summoning Cthulhu, and war crimes. I think we're okay.
We did early banter with Kanzu. So
Early banter with Kanzu.
what we really need is the Kanzu on the chair, like our guest chair, but have it be Kanzu. So if we're not fishing, we have that. So it's like, oh, Kanzu, good to have you again. Like, we have like teacups and like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Logan, you're a meme. You are a meme. A meme. That's it.
I'm the funny one.
Limited
Jason.
time gift of the Lotus Alert. Raid Barrow storage vaults. It's a survival mission with surprise PvP elements while random Tenno get contracted to defend it. Sounds exciting.
That sounds more exciting than Scarlet Spear.
Don't tell anyone I'm quiet.
All right.
Yeah, we know
Yeah,
Zen.
that's
His sound card is a little.
wonky. Don't worry.
Screwy.
What he lacks in volume, he makes up in comedy. Anyway, I will be right back, y'all. Unfortunately, that thing that I told you was gonna pop up happened.
Jason,
Heck,
you
he
entertain
died.
quickly while I grab a beer. And then
Oh my god.
Right back.
Alright, yeah, I can totally do that.
Yeah, Jason, sorry, I gotta run about 6
Oh
more
my
capture missions in the
god!
next 5 minutes, and it'll only take about 2 minutes. I just need to do a capture mission 7 times, and then
Oh.
I'll be right back.
God. Okay. Did Logan actually leave?
Hey, chat, Jason plays band frames.
Band frames.
Man,
Oh,
free,
you're
man.
right. I do
illegal
play
wheel.
band frames.
Illegal
All he
underground
plays.
drift frame. Wee, underground drift frame, please. Wee.
How dare
Somehow-
you? I play band
Wait,
frames. You want to see my
Band
Titania?
frames.
Yeah, all you play Titania,
Octavia?
Wukong.
Yeah, I meant
frames?
Octavia, and then we were talking about band.
Oh,
as in-
band frame.
Band
like
frames.
the trumpet ones. Becky's a band frame.
Yeah, I play
Band frames.
Titania.
Octavia's a band frame because she can play all
Titania's
the
banned.
She
Banned.
totally shouldn't. All right, look, just because you can't play her properly doesn't mean
Whoa.
I'm back. Y'all, quarantine's gonna make me fat.
because you can go in double speed, Jason.
I
Are
can
we
like
okay?
quadruple speed, man. It's pretty great. I
Are we
don't even
fine?
have that much power strength on.
Everyone's jumping ship. We're always jumping ship here.
Can't play her properly. Oh, baby. That's a spicy take. Yugi boy.
Yugi boy.
I will add
What is
Protea to the
happening?
tier list right now and send you a picture of it so you have it if you want it.
What did I just miss? I'm back. I got McDonald's.
You got McDonald's?
Yeah, I'm gonna be fat by the end of like actual quarantine.
Oh, I felt
That's what exercise is for.
I was social distancing at my friend's last week, and I said that I get Uber Eats about once a week, and he said he hasn't gotten takeout since the quarantine started.
Support your local businesses by takeout.
Yeah, so what kind of guy are you? What are you, a healthy person?
So Espa9, hey, if the 40-second loop is like good, then I'll be fine.
Yeah, if it's a crab rave for Megalovania, no complaints.
Yeah, no, if it's like Through the Fire and Flames or something, I'm good. I'm set. I'll listen to it for 40 seconds on loop. Give me Bubblegum KK. That's what I'm gonna learn on the Shawswin. Whatever. I'm gonna learn that, and then you can never escape the Animal Crossing music.
Oh god. Alright, and okay, now that
Do-do.
Becky's back,
Do-do.
I think it's time we move on over to our interview chairs.
No, I want a KK slider.
There we go. Oh wait, and since I don't know if we're racing during the interviews yet, let me hide this and bring up my drift frame picture.
I was just here to trash talk people that
There it is.
That's pretty good.
I worked really hard on it.
Did you draw the car, or is that art? Is that like a clip art?
I drew it.
That art?
I traced over another piece of clip art so I wouldn't get DCA'd.
Is this an art?
Royalty-free car.
Oh man, someone make that. Someone screenshot that and make it like a quick meme with the butterfly guy of "Is this an art?" Please do.
That will be the thumbnail.
It isn't.
It is an art, truly. I agree.
No, the thumbnail has to be the picture of that car and the meme with the "Is this an art?"
Honestly, someone please. Oh god, is this art?
Bottom text.
Is this bottom text?
Is this context?
Is this context?
This
no,
is truly
there's no
content.
Alright. So, Logan, I'm starting first, just so you know.
Yep.
Usually when we do these interview things, I have to say all the questions, because I'm the socially awkward one who can't talk about Warframe. But we're all gonna mostly talk about them anyway. So, first off, I mean, a lot of people here already know who you are, but just in case, people have been watching your stream and aren't quite sure who you are, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm a one XandyPants. I'm Xandy. I'm a video and stream guy on the internet of nebulous renown, and I am here today for the grievous crime of making a Driftframe tier list video that has like 700,000 views and not following it up with frequent actual Driftframe races. So now I'm here for repentance. This stream will decide whether I go to heaven or hell. So pack your bags.
Good
Last one at
lord.
this point.
First we're summoning Cthulhu, and now we're going, literally on the highway to hell. It's fine. It's having a good time.
I am in fact not wearing pants right now, chat. I am wearing shorts.
Oh God, how dare you?
Blasphemous. Yeah, no.
You're going
Honestly.
to Hades, Andy.
I'm going to hell anyway. Yeah, I'm going to Hades.
A Q&A in the chat. Who's wearing pants? Because I'm currently just in my underwear.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm in shorts.
I'm
so
wearing a
like,
t-shirt, don't worry, but
I'm in shorts.
if I'm at home,
I'm in
I'm not
shorts.
wearing pants.
And I'm missing homemade pizza for this, so.
I'm missing
I got
chicken wings.
McDonald's.
Well, I guess I can go upstairs and get some, but I'm not going.
Yeah, the pants poll in the chat. So how long have you been playing Warframe?
Oh boy, we were just talking about this because of Nezha Prime coming up in like 10 days. I started playing almost exactly 4 years ago. I was just finishing college, and I was an English major. I was a creative writing focused English major. So I had to write a novella for my sort of capstone final thing in college. And I did it really fast, and it was done. And so I had basically graduated, but we hadn't had the ceremony yet, while all of my friends and the people I was close to had not. And so I was very, very bored, and I binged like 300 hours of Warframe and burnt myself out on it. And then I took a bit of a break, and after The Wait Within, I took the content by storm, which was not very hard because people were waiting so long for content.
Heck yeah, content. Well, first off, I want to apologize for you choosing to be an English major.
Yeah, thank you. I'll collect my welfare money on the way out.
But yeah, 4 years. I think the person here who's been playing the longest is probably Jason.
Yeah, okay, so my history of Warframe is kind of wonky. So technically, I like really started playing around the Cicero Crisis, played for a while, and then my laptop couldn't handle Warframe anymore, so I swapped to console. And that was around like when Soprano Banshee came out. And then like a year or two ago, I swapped back to my PC account, and I've been on PC since.
That is wonky.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I could not imagine binging just 300 hours.
And I played a little bit before Cicero Crisis, but like I stuck with the game. And it was like a back and forth kind of thing, because I was, like a freshman in high school, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So, yeah, once Cicero Crisis came around, I pretty much stuck with it, and then swapped to console.
But honestly, 300 hours though, like just binging straight 300 hours, I have only played 383 hours, and I've been playing this for long enough to think I'm able to talk on a talk show about it.
How long?
Okay.
100 hours is child's play.
Yeah, I know, right?
It depends over how long that is, yeah.
I mean, probably like maybe a little over a year.
Yeah, that's okay, but that's somewhat reasonable. I mean, I have my Steam hours.
Yeah,
which,
what's your Steam hours? Because I'm curious.
My Steam hours are 4,383.
Dang it, I'm only I'm 3,004.
Yeah, well, but the reason is because I log into Warframe, script an entire video, and then make the whole video, and then go edit it. Sometimes without closing.
Yeah, it pads the hour.
Yeah, I'll go check in mission hours, because it's gonna be way less.
Wonderful. 500 hours logged right now. I'm not there yet. I'm getting there.
Let's
Slowly
see.
but surely.
In mission hours, I have 1478.
That's still a decent amount of time, but
yeah
I mean,
I know.
Obviously it's gonna be way less than the Steam hours. Let's find out.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Profile. Stats.
Yes.
Okay.
And not,
Time played 2,221 hours.
yeah.
Nice.
No, no life.
Wait, 222 or 2,200?
2,220.
Oh, okay, good. I was just getting concerned for a second.
Yeah.
Jason, what are you at?
The first 250 hours of Warframe are just a tutorial. Honestly,
Got him. Before
Okay,
you
I'm-
unlock the character custom, I was gonna say before like you start playing the video game.
I'm at 1150 in game. What are you at, Jason?
1478.
14 something.
Fucking nerd.
Bet.
Okay, I'm gonna send it in our thing. I'm gonna send the picture for you to put up on the stream.
Oh,
Alright,
no.
awesome.
Okay, Sandy, I have to know, what's your Scarlet Spear score?
I don't. Can I check that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right
check
above
it.
time played.
I'll
You
log
can
back in.
check
I'll
all.
log back in.
Yours is probably like 10 million.
I didn't. I stopped farming it. I had a lot of viewers donated platinum and said just buy the arcanes and don't farm the event.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
Oh my god, what?
I
What
did.
a cop out.
So that,
Any
do
of
this
you,
game.
any of
No.
you who donated plat to that cause, you're a coward.
no, it was the most one of the most noble things. Like I was like, my community's taking care of me. Like this is the most touching. They were like, please don't waste your time and just make us content. It's not worth it. And I resoundingly, I mean, I just asked people and they said they didn't want to watch it. But it was a coward's way out. But sometimes you have to live to fight another day for another 4,000 Steam hours.
Honestly,
Let's see what else we got here. 61,396,393. That's like nothing, isn't it?
You have what, 61,000?
It's in chat. It's
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
like
hang on.
61,000.
Okay, yeah, I had.
oh, he's trying to flex. Watch out.
No, I don't want to flex it because it just shows how little of a life I had for this. I have 713,000.
Oh,
I was saying 100.
Yeah, I farmed like four. I farmed like 8.
232,000.
This is the number that you have.
Yeah, 713,344.
Okay.
Okay,
To be clear,
in my-
Jason had to farm the event not only for himself, but one of his friends was like not able to access like their computer and play Warframe for 2 months. So not only did he have to buy all the arcanes for himself, but also all the arcanes for his friends. So he continued to farm, you know, just for this friend. So it's a very noble act.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
No,
in my defense, I kinda actually enjoyed running Condrix Ground Squads. So, like, I don't know. It was really fun.
It's good if you enjoyed it.
It was-
there's no shame in enjoying it.
It was really fun to exploit the Volt Shield, the Volt Shield Exodia Contagion bug, where if you threw the Exodia Contagion projectile through the Volt Shield, it would persist the entire time, meaning
What?
you didn't know that? Okay.
No, what the hell?
Okay, so if you had a Volt Shield, right, and you threw an Exodia Contagion projectile through it, it would do the damage, and then it would continue to do the tick damage the entire time.
What?
So,
Yeah,
Just
you
so
could
moderate.
load it up in the first phase and then just clear sentience and be done.
What the hell?
I was
Okay,
doing
wow.
Condrix runs in like under 15 minutes, like a
Alright,
full
now
17 clear.
this score, you cut this score in half for you and a friend, and now you're telling me this, and it's looking a lot less ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's a little. It's not as ridiculous. I think the shortest run I did was like 20 minutes. So, and I was with Jason abusing Exodia Contagion.
I did a lot of farming for this.
Scarlet Spear wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was bad. We
It
gave
w-
it a Actually, we didn't actually give it a rating, but it was a 6 or 7. It's like me. It's a 6 or 7.
Did they patch it, Jason? They patched it.
Yeah, they patched it at once. As soon as Scarlet Spear ended, they patched it. They knew about it the entire time, but because a lot of people were using it, they didn't. they figured they just let it run out.
They already had so many complaints about their events, so they might as well just not make them angrier.
But yeah, that was the thing. It was glorious. Because
Right,
you could do the same thing with the with the birds, with the airless. You could just load them up and then pop the barrels.
I was like, what?
You know the Lugia, the freaking Kyogre looking ass.
No, that was the Lugia thing. That's the way to describe you were like the birds.
The birds.
What the hell are you talking about?
The birds work.
The Lugia thing, the Kyogre thing. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that obviously the one Lugia in it. Everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, we all know. They're my favorite, and I felt bad for mercilessly slaughtering them every single time.
Don't feel bad. They deserve it. Just remember that.
Yeah, they're invading.
Airless deserve rights.
They don't. Okay, so you did first 2, Becky?
Yeah, I did my first 2. We got on a tangent about Scarlet Spear. I wonder why.
Okay, then here's the fun. Alright, how would you describe the content that you create?
Oh no.
In a broad or a general sense, if that's easier.
Also, Logan, you skipped the question. Nice job.
Did I? Oh shit.
Yeah, you're blind. Anyway, how do you
just go back to it?
Oh, did I already ask that one?
No.
No.
Did you ask that one? I mean,
no. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should stick to reading questions because Logan can't read.
No. It's a good question. It's just kind of hard. Well, the reason it's hard is because the thing that happens to most people, I think, when they start making videos or streaming is that they don't know exactly what they're gonna be about or what it's gonna be about, and then eventually they figure it out. And that was definitely true of me. I was kind of doing it the whole time, but definitely not completely. So I mean, now I would say it's like synergy stuff, buildcraft stuff. I just want to talk about trade-offs and marginal benefit and synergies and like when is this weapon better than just how it is at baseline. And I made that tier list, which was like just the weapons on their own, but they're never on their own. Like you're always equipping a warframe, and having that warframe makes some weapons better. And maybe you would use those weapons, or maybe you don't like using those weapons or whatever. But Warframe is one of the best games you could ask for demonstrating that concept. And so I'm going to go on to talk about that concept in other games eventually, but Warframe is pretty much the best way to explain like what is a game that is just like that thing turned up to 11. Like this is a very good and the thing that's so good about Warframe is that not only is there a ton of different meaningful customization, from our context as people who play it a lot, it seems like there's some oversimplified stuff or some reductive stuff, but all in all, most of the stuff that you have control over does matter. Like it's still a high quality of number of elements that really matter to number of elements. There are games that have way more customization, but less of it matters, or way less customization, all of it matters, but there's less of it. And I think Warframe has a really good sweet spot. So displaying that that's what I would say.
Yeah, I kind of am not the greatest at building, but I'm working on it. We're getting there. I'm trying my best. All right, Logan, go ahead and
my apologies, because I do have a thing where it's like if there's a list on, I think if it's just digital, it's like my eyes just like jump back and forth because I honestly did not see the second one. Okay.
Here, I'll
so
fix
my
the list
apologies. When did you decide to start creating content? Like how far into from the time you started playing Warframe, when did you decide that you enjoy it enough that you want to start creating content for it?
Yeah, so I binged a bunch of it when, at that end of college thing, and then I kind of burnt myself out of it pretty quickly as a normal player. We'll get back to that. And then over that summer after I graduated, I started making random here and there YouTube videos, but they were just a whole bunch of insane variety of stuff. One of my most popular videos right now is a kalimba instrument tutorial that I made like 4 years ago, and it got like 6 views, but then my channel blew up a bit, and that video retroactively got promoted much more, and now has like 100,000, some insane amount for like just unexperienced tutorial on how to play an instrument. So that I was making videos, but for like 10 people, you got to understand, for like a good 6 months. And then when The Wait Within, so for those unfamiliar, a famous content drought called the Wait Within for the War Within quest. The time between that and the previous updates was really long. It got delayed a lot of times, high profile delayed update. And when it finally did come out, they do what they usually do, where they started their dev stream, and it was on like a Thursday or a Friday or something, I don't remember. They started their it was probably prime time, and it was in the afternoon. It was maybe like 3 or 4, and all the streamers got on and did their thing, and I wasn't really streaming Warframe at the time. And I hadn't been into it as much. I'd been playing it here and there, but just not that much. And the update caught my attention, and I was following it trying to release, but it didn't release for like 10 hours. Like they went live like it's gonna go up in like 5 minutes, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed for like the whole day while they were just trapped live streaming it, waiting for it to come out. And
Wow.
all of the other creators, obviously, like, you have to stop. Like, you can't just drop a 12-hour stream off the like without preparing for it.
Why not? I don't see why not.
Most people, it's just not like their life isn't structured that way. Some people can, and some people did, but a lot of people couldn't. They got ready for it to be in the afternoon, and it was at like midnight. They can't play it. They have to stop, and they did. Basically, everyone did. You may be able to see where I'm going with this now. When the update came out at midnight, I played through the entire thing really fast and made a tutorial on Rivens, and it got really insanely popular, even though it was a garbage fire tier video, because there was literally no content explaining how Rivens worked. Think about how widespread and popular, if a little silly, Rivens are right now. Think about how popular those are. For like a whole 12 hours, practically nobody had content explaining Rivens except for me. So like, it didn't matter
had
how
a
bad that
monopoly.
video was. Yeah, like it got a lot of views. Like how to unveil Rivens was really all it was. And that was enough. And I remember there was one comment on that video. Somebody said, "This video is garbage tier quality, but think of what this guy could do if we gave him a bit of support." Subbed, and that comment has a shit ton of likes and probably launched my channel all by itself.
Oh, it's really
And
nice.
I got like thousands of subscribers right then and there, and we were off. That is, so I would say I played for about half a year, but not too much. And then I started making videos for it serendipitously because that situation happened. And the build crafting the game and making videos for it kind of became my end game and unburned me out, and has continued to non-burn me out.
Nice.
Awesome.
You already hear, folks, the origin story of
The origin story of
origin.
The origin of Riven unveiling, Riven obsession. It was all my fault.
You didn't fall into a radioactive waste or anything.
Yeah, you weren't bit by a spider, born on some like bizarre space planet. You were just there when everyone else needed a fat nap.
No, that was the radioactive waste was the Rivens. I fell into the rabbit hole of Rivens and Kuva.
You heard it here first, folks. Rivens, her radioactive waste.
Yep, Kuva. Yeah.
Oh,
what
gosh.
did you think that was?
You know, lines of code in a video game. That's what I thought. Lines of code that people are willing to spend all of their plat on.
Well, just ones and zeros if you think about it. I've spent
Ones and zeros that sometimes ended up showing up by real money.
$100.
You were the hero Rivens needed, not the hero they deserve. That couldn't be more true. Like I'm telling you, that video, you can go back and watch that video, but it's an unwatchable mess. The only reason it did okay is because my explanation was still useful, but the video is eerily physically unwatchable. The quality is so bad.
Eerily
all right, guys,
physically
that's what we're doing. We're gonna stream it on stream, all right? Here, no, I'm kidding.
Oh boy,
absolutely not.
No, I don't have the preparation to do that.
You don't want to either. Like it's a mess. Is that a challenge, Xandy? Really, you don't? I mean, go ahead. You can go find. It's not hard to find because it's extremely popular.
Oh,
I'll go look up how many where it got to. Riven Xandy. I can't. Oh, other videos have drowned it out now. How heartwarming.
How
Maybe I
fitting.
put it on. I think I put it on unlisted.
That's a
might be real.
coward move.
Okay, get your you can do your next question. I'm gonna investigate whether I unlisted this video to protect myself.
All right. So, well, while you're looking at your content, I know we came to ask about Driftframe, but you're a content creator, and you're like the second content creator we've had around. So, we don't really talk to them much. So, what is your typical workday as a content creator? You seem to stream regularly, and you make YouTube videos. So, I guess what's your typical workday when it comes to that?
It's a little complicated since it's since I do stream and make videos. But generally, so I stream 4 times a week on right now Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday. At around 4 p.m. because it's a good time for me, but also because that's when Twitch has the largest number of viewers overall. A lot of people stream at that time, and that's why. But it's also convenient depending on your,
Stats.
stats. Because Social Blade, yeah. So that. So I stream those days. That content is basically for audience engagement and to catch up with people, to do day-to-day stuff, to prepare for videos. And then generally I work on the days I don't stream or before the stream. So usually I'm making videos up until I stream, and then I stream. My typical workday is kind of irregular. So there's kind of two. There's like, is there a stream today or not? If there is, then usually I make maybe some second channel content, some Patreon content. We'll talk about that in a sec. Those are quick, and then I'll stream. Or if it isn't a stream day, then I usually batch a bunch of stuff. I'm in a living situation where I don't have a room to record in. It's just open. And so if my partner is home, like we only have our bedroom and then the rest of the house, including the kitchen and the washer and dryer and the dishwasher. And so I really can't, it's not, she's extremely accommodating. It's just impossible to be quiet enough to record if there's somebody else like right there, like doing something. And so usually when she's in class, she's in graduate school, I will record like a batch of like 5 second channel videos or 1 main channel video, and I'll prepare for another one, and while she's in class or something. And that works pretty well for now. We are actually upgrading, thank you audience for being supportive, to an apartment that has a room for me to record in.
Whoa, look at that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, boy. So it's pretty much exactly the same. It's just the space I'm using right now is actually a room instead of just a little den. So that will change things a lot. But basically, me as a creative, I am about batching. I'm usually pretty bursty with content. I don't like work every day. I work like when the going's good, I make a bunch, and then I try to let it go when it is not optimal too. I think one of the biggest the working hazard of this profession is that you kind of always know that you could be making more, and so it feels like you're failing always if you don't draw clear boundaries between this is time to work and this is time not to. And eventually you have to put your foot down and say, for the most part, I get done what I get done in this amount of time, and then that's it. You can't just force it to. I've beaten myself up a lot about, there's a moving truck outside and I can't record. Like, then you can't record, So overall, I would say it's 2 things. It's either stream day. I usually make some small Patreon content. We'll come to that in a sec. And stream, or I make a big video or a batch of those videos and I schedule them all. And then, of course, there's monitoring Patreon and the Discord server and managing the finances, figuring out what new good video ideas there would be. A lot of it is just sitting in game and thinking about stuff, or writing scripts, a lot of which I haven't used, or sometimes I do the video without a script to try to get ideas. But for the most part, it's pretty regular. Like I'll work in the middle of the day usually. I can't say there's, besides the structure overall, I can't say there's too much more to it than that. The only important note here is that Patreon thing. So a huge part of my content schedule and financial support comes from Patreon at a tier where you pay $9 a month at the moment, and you get a Q&A video from me, basically a face cam video. I just do off the cuff, you ask a question or a discussion topic, and I blurb about it. And that might sound like, okay, that's fairly normal, right? But they're public videos on a public channel that has a life of its own. And so as that channel, for example, somebody recently asked me which Warframe is the best, which Warframe is my favorite. And oh boy, that's a spicy one. So I decided to begin a series where I make a video about every Warframe in the entire game as if they are the best Warframe.
That's a spicy meatball.
It's a spicy meatball.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can someone clip that? I just want that. I just want to hear that for the rest of time. Thank you. Someone clip.
That's a creator with Italian parents.
But
But yeah, so that ends up being a lot. And it's a joy. I love making those videos. The Parlay channel, Pantaloon Saloon, as it's called, is the great joy of my workday. It is a treasure, and I will link it so you can go watch it because it's really good. Is that really dodging if he has to make 40+ videos? Well, okay, but they're monetized. I don't monetize the direct answers to questions because they're already paid for. But the best Warframe video series, those are I'm making money off of those. I mean, I'm like not trying to say nothing, but like it's not like I'm not getting anything out of them. It's an advanced dodge.
An advanced dodge. Just a roll.
You thought you could get me to, you could corner me, that I would either cop out or have to answer.
He's going in.
Thank you for the clip.
Oh my god, let's see it.
He's just shifting into the rift.
It's a spicy Thank you very kindly for the clip.
Delicious. It's sinking the ship so it can't be captured is what it is. That's correct. You can't ask me anymore which frame is the best because I can just answer all of them with a link.
Is that a Kappa I see? I haven't seen a Kappa in the chat since 2016.
Yeah, are we back in? Did we go back in time? Oh no, guys, the election.
If anyone knows the Minecon, I might have been 2014 or 13. Can we get a Kappa spam going, please?
No.
No.
There was that, and there was the dedicated wham.
Yeah.
I lost my shit. I still remember that.
How much dedicated wham do we need?
I'm going. Life is a living nightmare. Alright, well, we've asked you the cool, funky, fresh, creator questions, so we, brought you on because you're, given the title of like the originator of Driftframe.
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, what is Driftframe and what are your rules to it? Give us
Jason,
the
what the hell was that?
Well, I just
You're
like
the originator of Driftframe, and Jason in the background goes, hey.
No, I went, yeah.
Jason maniacally laughed.
We're excited, yeah. When I first started talking to the three of you, pretty much the first thing Jason said was, I didn't think we would get this far.
All right, you know what?
Which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, George's call. I gotta be honest. I didn't think I'd get this far.
And part of the reason that Jason said that is, of course, because he races illegally with the
wow.
He is
illegal. Be careful, Xandy. Might pull the reverse Uno card on you. The wild draw 4.
No.
Driftframe is the reason I joke about the banning thing is because Driftframe it comes from two places, but one of those places is an effort to. I really like speedrunning culture, but I am a person who does not enjoy just straight practice. Like it sounds really lazy, but I just don't like it. Like I do not enjoy, labbing combos in Smash Ultimate. I don't enjoy focusing all my energy to improve at one thing. I just don't like that. I know I'm willing to practice. I don't like dumping my energy into that one thing. I really admire people that do, though. And so speedrunning, of course, something I would enjoy. But the thing is, like, I just can't do it. Like, I can't do it. There's no, like, I'm never going to be able to do it, you know? And so it's a way to, Driftframe is basically speedrunning, but all the speedrunning frames are banned, if you think about it. Like, it's Nova, Wukong, and Titania. Like, it's just speedrunning, but without the speedrunning.
Yeah, it's just being fast, not being super
Being
fast.
fast, not being impossibly fast, right? The reason that we originally started making Driftframe is because I wanted to get a bunch of one frame for memes, and the easiest one to do was Mag, because she dropped from Sergeant, so you could just spam Sergeant and get a huge amount of Mag blueprints, and it's kind of like a capture mission, except he just dies right away. And so we got to thinking that it would be more fun to just do that as a game mode, and it took on a life of its own. And Joey Zero made an intro with all this crazy animation, and he made a custom fucking intro track for it, and all the just like way more effort than you would have ever needed to put into that. And we started doing it, and then the tier lists really took off. I remember I made one of the first ones, and I thought it was kind of like whatever, nobody really cared. But I get why people did. You know, I demonstrated all the tech for all of the frames that I felt were really fast in the video.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's not just the tier list; it's like the entire meta on a silver platter.
I think
And
that
it's like
was
this.
that was
No, go ahead.
the first Driftframe video of yours I ever saw. I saw the tier list, and then I just went down the rabbit hole and kept.
Yeah.
And I think I subscribed there, and I just kept watching for any Driftframe updates, because every time I see a new Warframe, I'm like, oh, I wonder what
Driftframe?
what Driftframe will do with this. Like,
I feel the same way, and it's funny because the game is so parkour heavy and so fast movement based. There are a surprising number of things that seem tailor made for racing that come into the game, and there are also mechanics that are unexpectedly interesting for Driftframe. But it's not so far fetched, because it's really what you already do in a capture mission. It's sort of an informal race. What if it was just a slightly more formal race? Our developers have even said in the past that they're interested in making a more formalized thing that they described almost the same thing as Driftframe.
We got a question about that later, I believe.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's reason to be positive. And it's funny you mentioned that thing about having a new frame come into the game, and you wonder what their movement tech is like, because last week there was a frame that was new, and what was
what's
the
there?
frame's name? What's that frame again? I don't know. It has some fucking abilities.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll remember the name later. Maybe
Couldn't.
we'll remember it later.
Yeah, I can't think of the name right now, so it's too bad. But
It was a girl, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, it was a girl frame, maybe.
Rotato? No.
Maybe she was. I'm not sure.
Did you just say
Rotato.
I don't think you know well what I said, Becky.
I'm gonna have to remove you from this plane of existence?
It's like,
Sweet potato.
Sweet
Tortilla.
Tactical
Tactical
potato.
potato.
Tracer.
Tracer, right?
I want to be Tracer.
Where's
I
Echo
wanna
from
be
League of
Tracer.
Legends?
I'm already
Yeah,
Tracer.
something like that. Something like that. I thought I had the question written down. I did not, so I just added it. Cool. Fun. Anyway, we still missing part of the question. What are your rules? What are your cool, sick rules to
What are the rules? Oh, of course we have to orient people. So it's a capture mission, so you can do any capture mission, and doing the animation where you cap the target is worth 1 point, and getting to extraction first is worth another point. And generally we do like 5 races in a set, and whoever has the most points wins. If we have ties, we do a tiebreaker. You can't use gear items Operator or the banned frames, which right now are Wukong, Nova, and Titania. Probably won't be any more frames that currently exist that will get banned.
Hey, you never know. Broken Warframe could just randomly
Broken.
teleport to any location.
I just mean like frames that are already released. It's highly unlikely that they would become bannable in the future.
Yeah,
And low
yeah,
too
That
talented.
only happened with Wukong because he had an ability that would have been insane for racing, and then they reworked him, and it became insane for racing. So right now
See,
they're
as much as I like Wukong, I was trying to. I would just be playing Wukong because Jason was playing Titania and being a filthy illegal racer, and I would like to remove Wukong from the ban list because I'm bad at controlling him, and I ended up glitching into the floor and I kept falling. And
yeah. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't like go into operator. She couldn't cancel ability. She couldn't try to cloud walk out of it.
Because I was glitched, but I wasn't glitched to the point where I would just fall all the way through the map. It was just through the floor. So you know what? On some maps, when you fall at a certain point, it just blacks out your screen and it starts you at your highest point. Well, my highest point was glitched under the floor, so I just kept falling. And I fell for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
It was cool.
Real quick on the topic of ban, I just thought of something. So on the topic of ban frame, since we real quick brought it up, what do you think would happen if since Warframe has been kind of adding in more PvP augments into PvE? Ash has one where it makes his teleport not target anyone and just be a flat teleport. What do you
what?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
looking it up.
I'm pretty sure I saw something about that.
Let me see.
Ash PvP augment Warframe.
Also, Logan, you got the next 2 questions. Yeah.
Ash. Looking at like alternate equipment. Oh, here we go. I don't see. Maybe they're not listing Conclave mods, but
I only see Fatal
Well, that's because
Teleport.
no one plays.
I'll have to look. I mean, I am. Don't mean to flex, but I am max ranking Conclave, so I could totally.
Everyone type in the chat.
Yeah,
Jason's
that's
a
nothing
loser.
for them to worry.
Everyone type in the chat. Jason's a loser for being max rank in Conclave.
oh,
Now I have to look, man. It's
I'm,
gonna
yeah,
bug me.
I'll go too. I'll just search but I couldn't see one. Untargeted teleport with no prep, like Loki has to make a clone or have a target.
Yeah.
Would be instant A tier and would probably get banned. Yeah.
Because that'd be a little nutty.
Yeah, I mean, even like Loki's has a qualifier on it. Like the swap is powerful, but needing to put down your clone so you can teleport definitely holds it back. Like makes it more of an honest ability. And you do need to aim, you know, like, and it's hard to aim while going.
Aiming.
You can be good at aiming, like you can have amazing aim, but if you have to go really fast, it's hard, you know. So I think if you could just target a point on the ground and teleport there as often as you want, that's pretty bannable. Like that, I don't see how that could be. It doesn't seem beatable, is how I feel.
Okay, I don't see it. I guess cause I saw it on the subreddit and it was talking about like, oh, all these Warframes are getting, you know, PvP into PvE augments. Why can't Ash have his where he just teleports to no target instead? And I guess that wasn't a thing.
Jason's
I
lying here.
had a
Everyone type in
fever
the chat.
dream.
Jason's a liar and a loser.
Apparently, I had a fever dream. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
Is that just Ash's default conclave ability? No, so I checked that too. Ash's default conclave ability does seem to be still teleporting to a target. Yeah.
Was C into a.
But okay, but did you go into a conclave match and try?
Would that make you happy?
No. This isn't. We had the conclave discussion that was like 2 episodes ago.
Jason, you Tokyo Drift, right? That's not what this is about.
Also, Matt, just letting you know, please don't surprise appearance Jason. He might be angry. Don't do that to him. Not
Yeah,
today.
no, don't do that.
Surprise IRL.
The secret lore of CephalonChat, Epic Redeemer and Press X to Jason are related.
Oh
Ooh.
God, how? Oh wow.
Rebecca, we just did the
All right,
rules.
Logan. Yeah, I did the rules. You're the next two.
We did the next, or did we? We haven't done the next one after the You're Well Known.
Yeah, we haven't done that one.
Okay, sweet. Sorry, I just had to reconfirm. All right.
It's okay.
All right. So, what gave you the idea for Driftframe, and what really made you want to stick with it once you got started?
Well, the
Wait.
mag meme, but sticking with it, I mean, I feel like a lot of the texture to being a person who makes things for people to watch on the internet is to not. I do think there's a bit of magic lost if you literally always stick to your guns. And when I said I want to talk about the synergy and the buildcraft and stuff in games, yeah, but like we can take a bit of a break sometimes, like, and this does have some, it's sort of applying it to a different context and seeing what's good here if we completely change the rules of what a meta would look like. What's it like? And it's not that I consider it to be work or like serious to talk about the game the other way, just that I think that having a different context than just having some other evergreen content on the channel is valuable. Also, I mean, people were so excited. Like, I would feel bad to just cancel it. It's fun and people really like it. It doesn't take that much work either. I don't mean to undersell the tier lists. That's a lot of work, but updating the frames, like, it's fun to have the new frame in Driftframe. Like, what is that like? And it's not so bad. Like you cover their ability. Usually it's a lot less hard than covering all their abilities because a lot of their abilities are not relevant. So overall, it's a perfect storm of being sort of a refreshing change of pace. It doesn't take up a lot of space on the channel or time in my life, but people really like it and it's very enjoyable. So it's just like a good fit. I'm as surprised as everybody else is. I didn't think that my silly meme racing mode would become this thing that people cared about, but they do. So far be it for me. You say as an entertainer, your job is to figure out what people could want, not just to give them what they say they want. But sometimes you should just give them what they say they want.
And if they want Driftframe, you just gotta
Then they will drift. Let them eat drift.
Let the people drift.
let them eat drift.
Let them eat drift. I panicked and couldn't think of a better way to adapt the quote.
I'm just gonna put that as my Discord status for now. Just let them eat drift. I think that's
Got him. Let them eat dust. Big damage. Oh, that's good.
The exact context, but there's a meme where whenever me and Jason do a mission, as soon as you complete the objective, you have to run as fast as you can to get there, so you can say what took you so long.
It's so annoying because I'm the slowest person in the group, and they'll just be sitting here like, "What took you so long?" and then arguing for like 3 minutes while I'm taking my slow ass to extraction about who got there first.
I forget when, but there was one mission that we did, the like void capture, where it was like we did it in about 1 minute, and then we're like, okay, we could do this faster, and then we did it in like, I think Jason got it down because I had to go to work, and I think Jason got it down for like 45 seconds, 40 seconds or less.
Or he was probably playing Titania like a cheater.
No, I was playing Wukong.
Yeah, it was Wukong.
Like a
But
cheater.
yeah, I remember from that he told me about you, and it was like from that it was like I can see where his excitement was, because like the racing, it's just like fun, just flying through the mission and just like not even joking around, but just like playing around. It's just like it's just like I love right off the bat. It's just like just adding a little racing element to it, and I love the name Driftframe. I'm assuming it's from Tokyo Drift, but
just like any number of initial D. Yeah.
It's not a question, but it's, I'll unofficially ask. Where did the name sprout from?
Yeah, so I mean, it's initial D mostly.
Okay, fuck yeah.
There isn't really like a particular reason, but it felt to me that the name has to be, it's got to be like Warframe, but some kind of other mode. And I didn't want something convoluted. I wanted something short, something that feels a little natural. I find it very funny that sort of one of the defining features of Driftframe has become drifting. Like the slide mods are, if you have all the space in the world in your build and you run all the parkour mods and all the sprint speed mods, you want slide mods, you want friction reduction mods, and I feel like those sort of like make no sense to a lot of people in this game, except in this context where they're amazing, and if as long as you can handle them, you definitely want them. So oh, whoa.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, backing up to the teleport thing. It turns out I misread when I looked up the Conclave version of teleport, and despite the description, you actually do teleport to like just anywhere. It's just
Targetable
that you
terrain,
just teleport.
object, or enemy within range.
Busted.
Busted.
But that is the conclave ability, not an augment, so we
Right.
wouldn't see
So
the
it seems
change.
unlikely.
Seems unlikely.
There is
for-
no good.
I was gonna say for our one viewer in this chat who keeps making jokes about Conclave whenever he's in VC with us. Yes, Lurf, that's the only use that Warframe has in Conclave, and that's all the Conclave talk we will have this time around. No more Conclave. Conclave's dead. It's fine.
Somebody has pointed out that we did in fact make a special Driftframe overly dramatic video where we reenact, we do like an Initial D episode sort of parody thing, but it's Driftframe.
That's incredible.
That is a thing that occurred. Joey and I did make that video. It's criminally underwatched. Please watch it. But anyway,
will watch it after stream.
Yeah, don't watch it right now. But it is a no. We'll link it later. We don't go watch it now. But
no rabbit holes.
No, stop.
I'll link it. I'll link it at the end of the stream. If you stick around to watch the stream, I'll link it at the end, or when I have to go anyway. But it's a funny boy.
It's a funny boy. All right, go ahead, Logan.
Boydie. All right, so how do you actually decide the tier lists for your frames? And do you have do you have Becky?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Do you have frames you think are just fun to, do you have any frames that you think are just fun to race with, no matter their rank? Are you like Jason, where you like to play the illegal drifting?
The off stream at like 3 a.m. when nobody knows I'm online. I break out Nova.
Yeah, I'm
crack
like
open a beer. Yeah. Okay. So the tiers. For the most part, they're pretty simple until we get to the top. So F is they have nothing. They have no increased notable base sprint speed, and they have no abilities that let them move.
I can actually bring this picture
literally
up.
at all. Like they just have nothing. If they have literally anything, they get to at least D tier. So if their sprint speed is even a little notable, or they have literally any move that makes them move more than just nothing, they get to D tier. So D tier is basically just like bad tech, and the sprint speed that is unremarkable. Oh, look at that! That actually looks really nice behind the yeah. Fancy that, huh?
There we go. We'll just
There's
quick.
what's one of those frames in
I don't know. I'm just
that,
gonna
no, that's that seems to be something
hang on. I gotta
I
gotta hide it. I don't know how.
As well, the meme display on screen.
Yeah, I can put the meme up in a second. Hang on, I gotta hide this real quick.
So would you like a previous version?
No, I mean it's all right.
No, I got you covered.
I'll put
Don't you worry. You think I don't just have that on hand?
Here we go. Hang on.
It's literally that.
There we go.
Fast. F is no tech, and D is bad tech. So this is like amounts of sprint speed that are just like they're better than nothing, but just it doesn't really matter. And or they have like a movement ability, but it's like either really janky or just not very good. Atlas's punches, Garuda's first ability. Ivara has her dash wires with her augment that makes her faster while stealthed, and you can sprint while in her stealth ability when on a dash wire. So like that's stupid and not good, but you can technically go very fast. So it's better than having no speed. So Valkyr's Rip Line is better than nothing, etc. But a lot of them, it's just movement speed. Then C tier is we're now we're talking. There's some parkour frames, so like Mirage, and then Nyx and Vauban for their arcane helmets that give them parkour velocity. That was very smooth, very nice. You cleaned up that. There was nothing under that. I'm just saying that you cleaned up that
Yeah. Thank you.
thing. It was just really nice. Good job.
Thank you. I try.
Frames that have good but not great speed buffs, like Korra with Venari, Equinox when you change forms. And then there are a few frames that have dash abilities, but they're not very good. Rhino and Revenant. They're not terrible, they're not great. Then we have Ash teleporting behind people for infinite losing. But it's still a teleport. I don't, it's not
Second
bad.
place is still first loser.
Second place is still, yeah. All you have to do is DDoS the person in first place, and then there you go. And then Octavia again, a okay but not amazing speed boost ability. And then we get to B tier and A tier, and this is where it gets a little harder. This is where it becomes much more based on user performance, like how have they done, because they're all quite fast. B tier is mostly about the same speed as A tier when they're at full blast, but what I would say is that they're less consistent. So Gauss, actually, for him, it's the opposite. It's that he's very consistent, but his top speed is very low. His sprint from Mach Rush does not get faster with anything really except sprint speed. That being said, it's still immediate. He doesn't have any acceleration time. That's good. And it's a directional dash. That's good. It can be used in midair. That's good.
I like the So I watched your Gauss video, and I like the way you described it, and I describe it to everyone. Gauss is a frame that's designed to feel fast, not be fast.
Yeah, and the way his kit was built was that he wants to feel fast no matter what build you have. Whereas Volt is a frame that's not about speed. He has an ability that can be fast if you build it to be fast. Whereas Gauss is like no matter what your build is, he is fast. He feels very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you make a very good point bringing up the feeling fast thing because he's got that big zoom out, like the fisheye lens thing.
Yeah, he's designed to feel fast, not necessarily be fast. Like,
because going at the speeds we use in Driftframe in a normal mission is like legitimately unhelpful. Like you don't want that. Like it's annoying. So, and then again, Wisp, Hydroid, and Excalibur. So Hydroid and Excalibur have good dashes, but they're a bit awkward. Hydroids, you can only go laterally. You don't go up. And it's got like a mini arc too, which can be awkward. Still goes very fast, very far, but it's inconsistent. If he could just spam it and go straight, it's very fast, but he can't. Excalibur, you can do any direction, but it locks onto enemies. So, and then Wisp, she's got a good speed buff, but allies can get it. So you have to, or opponents. So you have to like put it off to the side. And then A tier is basically just stuff like that, but there isn't any problem with it. So Volt, Zephyr, Saren just have straightforward, gigantic speed buffs. They're almost all exactly the same. Volt gets his from speed, obviously. Zephyr's Jetstream Augment scales with strength, only a tiny bit slower. And Saren gets hers from Molt, also scales with strength. Neja has his Friction Reduction passive and Firewalker, which is a flat movement speed increase. Friction Reduction and Sprint Speed are good together. They're kind of like separate multipliers, if you will. So that's very good. And then Loki, it's his teleports. If you use it on an opponent, it can be devastating and you can steal the race and it feels terrible. And even if you can't, he can make a clone and teleport to it.
So Becky watched some of your videos, and she heard you say, yeah, and Loki can just switch places with one of your opponents. And every time I see her play Loki, I just sigh because she just always switches places with me, and it's so annoying. It's just like out of
So
nowhere. I'm like, oh,
annoying.
now I'm over here.
It's so disorienting too. That's the worst thing. Like it's just
so funny.
it's so confusing. Loki also has incredible base sprint speed as well.
Is it the
and then
highest?
I think Loki and Gauss are tied for the highest. I'll check. And then of course the band frames are frames that fundamentally break the rules of movement in the game. They can all basically fly. Nova, it's by teleporting. Nova can teleport through objects at times. Wukong can literally fly. Titania can fly, crazy speed. The other thing about these S tier ones is you got to remember that Driftframe is also notably and primarily a spectator sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's popular for something that some guy just made up, but ultimately it's mostly not played but watched, which is uncommon for a game mode. And so when I design events and what you're going to see on the screen, if something is nauseating to watch for most of the audience, like we're not going to use it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We just kind of have no choice. And then there's that thing I mentioned a lot earlier about how if you want to watch Nova, Wukong, and Titania, there's already a ton of content for that because you can just watch speedrunners. So
Yeah.
I sort of feel like because of all those reasons, there's kind of no point in allowing them. It just doesn't, we don't gain anything overall as a community.
Do you ever do underground band races?
Underground band races. It's been requested. We always try a frame when I'm gonna ban them. So if I say I think a frame is too good, we always do a race where they're allowed, and then we ban them if it's too much. But certainly not too often. I don't make a regular thing of it for the reasons I was mentioning. But Gauss has the highest sprint speed in the game, 1.4. Loki has 1.25. Gauss has 1.4. Wow.
Oh,
that's a sizable difference.
A spicy boy, yeah.
Fast Fairy was already at Extraction. Yeah, no. Titania is just chaos. I can't.
It's because of the Arcwing changes.
Yeah,
the increased maneuverability made made her a lot easier, and then she just gets the blink as well.
Oh, don't even. Yeah,
literally chaos.
They gave her. They're like, oh, also she has a teleport now.
Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to. It's because they were trying to be consistent with all Arcwings across the board. So
Nova because Nova, Wukong because Wukong, and Titania because Nova plus Wukong.
Honestly.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a little. D tier only races when.
F tier races.
F tier races. We all know Hildren, except I don't own Hildren.
Good thing to have asked. There's a problem with that. So the higher tiers you could sort of do, but people already mostly do that. For the lower tiers, the problem is because they're based on criteria and not on, you can't for a lot of them, it's a movement ability, not a sprint speed amount. So you can't quantify their raw speed. So for example, if we did D tier races, Baruch is the fastest. He just is. The movement abilities are not better than sprint speed, and the highest sprint speed in the tier is Baruch. And if you took him out, then there'd be another highest sprint speed, you know?
Yeah.
So at the lower levels, it's kind of impossible to have a good meta that maybe C tier you could do it. You could do C, no A tier, only B and C tier.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that I kind of like that almost every frame has something. And a big thing right now is that because there's been so much speed just added into the game, Telespoltes, Dispatch Overdrive getting easier to activate, the Parazon occasionally, Arcanes, in various ways, more movement mods, you can be quite fast at just D tier. You could just put all that stuff on, and you're basically B tier if you use it all correctly. And so you could sort of do D tier. Anyway.
Gotcha. So another question we asked was not depending on where they are in the rank or anything like that. Is there any frame that you just like racing with? Doesn't matter if they're in the lowest of the low or if they're banned. Is there any that you just have fun using their movement with?
It's got to be the VAW van. The VAW van.
Oh my god.
Oh,
The
it's such a complete meme, but it's so fun. the
with
boost
the boost
pads, man.
pads.
Let me tell you.
The boost pads, that's right.
Have you ever wanted to play Mario Kart in Warframe? It's a level editor for Mario Kart in Warframe.
We were trying to do
He's so
defection
mad.
because I wanted to get the hero part, and we were playing with a friend, and Jason's like, "You better not just go start placing down the movement freaking pad things," and I'm like, "What are those?" Because no one I know is actually plays Bobbin, and then I get to them, and I can't tell you how many times I ran into a wall and just got stuck there for 2 seconds as I'm trying to figure out what the hell's happening.
Yeah, because it gives you so much momentum. It like you hit the wall, and the pad is still like violently throwing you against the wall. It like gives you gravity for like sideways. It's it's awful. It's not good at all, but
It's just an ice
it's just
level.
really funny. I don't know. And it's always satisfying how reliably he pops that grenade out and just underhand chucks it under his feet, and you go forward. I like every time I do it, I think there's no way I'm actually gonna hit that pad, but you consistently use it as a boost. That's surprising. And then he's got the arcane helmet like Nyx, but it's just consistency. It's not a huge thing.
It's wonderful. Let's see. My brain is dying. Hold on. Are there any frames that you just like playing as? Like, even like, if it's not for drifting, just frames that you like to play with.
You lost me at not for drifting.
Sorry.
I don't. We don't do that.
Don't do that.
What's your favorite frame?
I don't. What? I'm not trying to play slow frames. I'm
I'm trying to play slow frames.
not trying to play slow frames here. I mean, and as you can see, most of them aren't slow. So, yeah. I mean, I non-jokingly do gravitate toward the frames that have some speed. Like I really like Gauss. I really like. Oh, there's that thing again. Yeah, there's a frame that's not here, but anyway, I can't remember the name. Neja,
No,
I really like Neja, the slide speed. Saren Molt, I really like Volt. I like Volt's Riot Shield thing, where you deploy and then you pick it up and you can use secondaries and melee and heavy weapons, by the way.
Oh, really?
while deployed. And you can still use your speed and go faster while doing that. I like that. I really like Jetstream Zephyr. That's fun. Someone's asking in chat what tier pro T.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
I'm
with
not
that
quite
name.
sure who that is.
I don't know.
That might be a Destiny character. I'm sorry.
I don't.
Yeah,
I think
are you playing Destiny?
Is that like Titan? Yeah.
All right.
Is that like
Warlock.
Warlock? Yeah.
All right, I think it's time.
Oh, is it time? We can't keep making the jokes.
No, we can't keep making the joke. I think it's time.
It's a new javelin.
A new frame means a new addition
All right, everyone
to Driftframe,
quiet.
and Protea has a very
Quiet.
specific and interesting little trick to bring to the table.
Is there a draw
In
or
Driftframe,
anything?
my Warframe
No, we
capture mission
just
racing
do it.
format, capturing the target is worth 1 point, and being the first to extraction is worth another point. A pivotal moment in the race
There
is right
is.
after
There
someone
already
gets
has
the
been.
capture target.
Oh, sorry. I
The
didn't
green
stream.
waypoint showing
No,
everyone
it's
which
okay.
way extraction is doesn't show up until the capturing player finishes that long capture animation.
At the moment, this is
So
just
it's
me
common
drinking.
for the other players to guess which way extraction is before the waypoint shows up to get a head start over the player who got the cap. If they guess right, they have an advantage over the player who already got a point, but if they guess wrong, they're even worse off than if they had just stood around waiting for the capture animation to end. Then they'd be starting the second half of the race behind a player they just lost to, which doesn't bode very well for them. So guessing is risky. But behold! Protea's temporal anchor makes her much better at guessing than other frames. If you lose the cap, you can deploy the anchor at the capture target and guess with reckless abandon, because if you guess wrong, you can simply rewind to the capture target and then you've lost very little by guessing. Wait, you might be thinking, if you guess right, don't you rewind your correct guess and lose your advantage? Well, when Temporal Anchor's duration runs out, you rewind just the same as if you'd reactivated the ability, which would appear to force you to go back, but it turns out that if you hold the button while Temporal Anchor is active, you can fully cancel the ability. You won't rewind. So if you guess right, you can just cancel
What?
Temporal Anchor and
There we
keep your advantage by holding down the ability key. All of this means that Protea is significantly more reliable at coming back
That
from
was
behind when losing
disgusting.
a capture target. She incurs much less risk when guessing which way extraction is, which gives her that potential advantage more often. Temporal Anchor also doesn't need any mods for this purpose, so you can fill your entire build with parkour velocity and sprint speed and stuff, and you can still get that advantage of being able to rewind if you make the wrong guess. As time goes on and we get more and more mobility options for our loadouts, that can make any frame pretty fast. You know, just having stuff in your loadout that makes you go fast. So having a powerful speed ability or a racing ability that requires a lot of modding support is becoming less valuable. You're not as far behind in raw speed if you have all of your modding space free for every general use mod. For that reason, narrow but compact utility abilities like this feel pretty solid to me. So for racing, I'm putting Protea in Driftframe's C tier. As the higher tiers on that list get closer and closer together over time, I think you'll be able to get surprisingly far with this weird little piece of tech. But let's find out. As with every Driftframe video, I'm scheduling our next racing live stream here at the end of this video. If you want to race or you want to watch, join us next Sunday, June 28th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, June 28th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/XandyPants, link in the description. If you're on PC, you can queue up and give it a whirl with us, keeping in mind what's banned as discussed in my Driftframe tier list and playlist, which is also linked below. And I hope you'll enjoy watching me rewind my mistakes all the way to victory.
There we go.
I took the coward's way out, and I hadn't updated the tier list.
It's okay.
What a coward.
We can throw up the updated one. There
Nice.
we go. Perfect. Look at that.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's
Just
our
like-
that's our joke. Everyone, in case you need another repetition of the date, Sunday, June 28th. Sunday, June 28th. Sunday, June 28th.
4
Sunday,
p.m.
June
Eastern.
28th. 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. other fucking coast. What year?
Era?
You know, honestly, 2023.
The Sengoku era.
Sunday It's Sunday, June 28th in 3000 BC.
Yeah.
Just use the Protea's rewind time to get back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on
this
Mixer.
is happening on Mixer.
Rewind time. Insane.
It's actually being streamed directly to Amazon Video.
Yeah. That's odd. Yeah.
That's hot.
That's
Marquez
Driftframe is a
Brown.
Mixer exclusive. Yeah.
Fortnite.
Exclusively on Mixer.
Facebook gaming. Yeah, I actually just watched it from Facebook gaming.
is that a thing?
That is a thing that occurred. Facebook paid people to full-time stream gaming on Facebook.
The only people who stream on Facebook are like wine moms.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, Protea's C tier.
C tier.
I feel like the rewind thing is, again, this is another one of those things where, like, she's probably one of the weaker options in C tier, but I feel like the rewind thing for the guessing is kind of better than everything in D tier. I feel like on balance, I would sort of rather have that than, like, Baruch has like 20% more sprint speed than she does, but that doesn't, like, their parkour is the same, and you're using parkour like half the time if you just do if you're just using mods and you don't really have any speed abilities. Like, you're using parkour a good amount of the time. So I feel like the rewind it's good. I feel like it's better than average, but it's not amazing, you know. It's just very funny because we all sort of didn't understand that you could cancel Protea's rewind. So at first we were all excited, like,
oh, if you guess the wrong way to extraction, you can hit rewind and then go back, and then you didn't guess wrong. But then it was like, oh, but if you guess right, you get rewound out of your correct guess, and you don't get to go back. But it turns out you can hold it. So shout out to somebody on my stream for making us realize that, because I did not know that. That's the only reason this happened. So yeah, good stuff.
Shout out to them.
Has Potato replaced your Vovan?
My Vovan.
I'm happy Potato. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy Potato has stuck.
My sweet potato.
Your
That was
sweet
the sweet
potato.
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato. My sweet. Didn't the guy say like my sweet Protea or something in the
My
freaking
darling
mission?
Protea, something like that. I don't remember.
Potato.
Oh,
Potato.
potato. All right, so that was the cool surprise thing that we were making jokes about the entire time. We planned the joke. Don't worry.
It was all planned,
The
calculated.
comedy is planned.
It was comedy.
Calculated
I
comedy.
like how Xandy
That's
tried
a
to
new band.
transition into it, and Becky was like, "Nah, we'll do it later."
No, that's fine. I just like, we can either make a meme out of it or do it then, or
I just wanted to see how long we can meme before somebody says the actual name.
yeah.
Which is surprisingly long.
Pro who?
Pro who?
Oh, Pro
Alright.
Jared, you're right.
Pro
Oh.
No. Oh gosh.
Meant other people on stream.
Alright. Since we are talking about the tier list, whose spot you change on the tier list as of 2020? I assume probably not, but
No, there have been some changes. I might have to go.
Oh.
I might have to go look at a previous one. So the way that I do the updates for for Driftframe is, making this tier list. Unlike, I recently made a tier list on my main channel that's just me, like in one take, explaining what I think about every weapon in the game, and there's no footage of the weapons. It's just me. I sat down, said what I think about every single weapon, and then turned off record and put it up.
that sounds like hell.
It's intense, but it's not hard to make at all. The Driftframe tier list is much harder to make because it requires demonstrating the things, because so few people know. Like for the guns, it's like if you shot the gun, like you know what I'm talking about, basically. Whereas with the Warframes, it's like a lot of the time the speed ability is a little obscure, or like a lot of people still don't know that Saren's Molt gives a speed increase and that it's as big as Volts. Like that's, a lot of people just don't know that. And so it requires demonstrating. So I don't update the tier list that often. Like they're not, tier list videos for Driftframe that often. It's been over a year now, I think. And so I organize it by putting them all in a playlist. And the tier list, the most recent tier list, is at the top of the playlist. And then it goes down with everything that needed to be added or changed or whatever. So right now, for example, if we go to, if I'm looking at my different tier list, and it started with a tier list update in 2019. That was is this the big one? No, it was an update that has a lot of use still, but just an updated version, not the huge one. And then we added Korra, so I put in a video to add Korra. Or I corrected Korra. I didn't know that she got passive speed from Venari, so I corrected that. And then we added Wisp, we added the Wukong rework, etc. You get the idea. And so since 2020, so I can just look on this and see. I updated the tier list a little bit in 2020, so I can look back at that. So we banned Titania this year because the Arcwing controls got modified, like Jason mentioned earlier, and she also her Razorwing Blitz augment might have been in the past year and a half. I forget.
No. That's
been a thing.
That's pretty old.
Yeah.
I think just because the Arcwing
Yeah.
maneuverability was god awful, it was underused or only used as a little as fire rate increase.
Right. So that changed. She got banned. I moved. Let's see. The 2019 one has. There's somebody else in A tier. That. Oh no, I think that part might be the same. It has. So Octavia used to be in B tier. She didn't put up the results that you would think would be necessary. It also, like, it's a combination of it's a little bit harder than I had estimated to activate the speed boost yourself, combined with it being a little easier than I had expected for other people to take the speed boost from you. And the fact that even with all of that, it's not even that fast just feels like eh. The duration is really good. That was a plus, but I think that Wisp. Oh no, Wisp came out during that time, so it's complicated. There were a few, but not a ton of changes. There were Vauban. I decided to include arcane helmets. That was a change recently. Basically, before I had said for some of them, it's like there's like Rhino. His arcane helmet doesn't really matter that much, and it's really his dashes that they're also not very good. But that's kind of the thing that would be notable. But I decided to include all the arcane helmets instead of excluding them. So that makes Saren was already A tier, but that makes her a little better. That makes Vauban a little better. It makes Nyx a little worse in context because I was allowing that to be unique, but it's really not. Like Vauban has one too. Vauban got his rework, so he got upgraded, but that wasn't 2020. Grendel got added into D tier. He should probably be F tier. I just feel bad because doing meatball is so fun. So, and it's not like it could never be faster, right? What do you think? Should Grendel be F tier? Like because it never makes you faster. Like you'll never win a race because of meatball. But
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe straightaways. Like okay.
Yeah,
So the new
only
tile
if he
set has a
really
lot of
goes
long
straight.
hauways.
yeah, or like I was
What do you
thinking
think,
there's somewhere
Chat?
you go
What do you
you go
think?
downhill.
Should
Yeah.
Grendel be slapped down by the might of Zeus into the lower tier?
If you hit that down ramp on the Corpus tile set, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's not impossible, but it's like not only that, but like you need to have an enemy in your stomach. Like there's so many
Yeah,
things in the way of it being
exactly.
good. Like
There's a first track coming
think-
down. Use your eat. And then
F
it'll
is almost
suck.
an insult to F tier.
no,
Yeah, give him G tier.
give him D tier. Yeah, let him have D tier.
G.
G tier.
A B C D F G.
G.
G for Grendel.
G.
G for Grendel.
G for Grendel. G for Grendel or M for Meatball.
G for Grendel is.
He's in his own class. M for people.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
not
like
mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just as mad. I could legitimately get behind the G tier because using the ability legitimately makes you worse off. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's an F tier frame, but he has a button attached to his kit that if you hit it makes you even slower. Like it's like it's not
perfect.
it's not that is worse. Like that's worse.
Harder to control while also being slower. He's the
Don't worry.
frame.
It's the perfect warframe.
Oh yeah, getting Grendel to be fast is like opening a particularly annoying ribbon that turns out into a stug ribbon.
You do
No.
a solo interception with a hobble dragon key, and it turns out to be a stug.
Yeah.
Y'all want to hear my current? This is off topic, and we know we have heard your opinions on ribbons. Don't worry, but
Oh, no.
I just think the unveiling ribbon process, and I've got good luck on ribbons, right? And I haven't gotten a stug ribbon yet because I'm not a loser. Sorry, guys.
Because you do sacrifice the RNGesus every day. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, no, I am a GM for like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, so I have all the RNG.
Okay, so you have the power already.
I have the power.
Go ahead, Becky. What's your annoying
My
ribbon?
favorite ribbon unveiling. Hold on, my Warframe is loading slow because I tried to watch the stream because I have bad Wi-Fi, and even closing Warframe didn't work. So I get to rewatch the video later because I missed like a chunk of it, and I'm very sad.
I love that. Great.
Thank you, Wi-Fi, for being this chaotic.
Thank you.
But while I pull that up real quick, you can Thank you, Wi-Fi. Very cool. Well, oh, okay, God. Warframe hasn't even loaded in. Game. Am I gonna die? Is this the end? I'm ready for my Wi-Fi to go
Don't
out,
try
guys.
it. You were the chosen one. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them.
Wonderful. Alright. So, Warframe
Meatballs
loaded,
roll
thank God,
better
right?
downhill. I have the high ground.
The only one I
Oh,
don't
God.
want to... The one I don't want to do that is just annoying, but, like, it's doable and I shouldn't complain about it, but I'm just lazy. It's like, kill 2 Darwin pilots before they hit the ground. Easy, right? Well, aim gliding. So I can't just cheat with Mesa, and I'm so sad. But, the dumbest one is complete a solo interception mission with level 30 or higher enemies and a hobbled dragon key equipped without dying or becoming down. Anyone want to take that from me? It's for a kit gun ribbon.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
that's
primary kick
Anyone-
guns,
anyone
super
want it?
good.
Hey man,
Primary
primary
kick
kick gun.
guns.
True. So can you rename
Primary kick
primaries now too, then?
guns.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm
I
getting the
guess.
can.
Oh no, too much power. Too much power.
We'll see someone
But
running
back to actual questions
what's-
and not me complaining about not wanting to do a solo. Just really want to give it away. My God. You can cheese that ribbon easy with Zephyr. Yeah, I know I can. Let's see. But back to actual questions. Big brain time. What do you think of DE? Like, you know, in their comments about making some sort of official drift frame. Like, would you be down to see like it in some more, I guess, official quote unquote setting, or do you like the way you have it now, where it's just like something fun that is just a secret game mode to Warframe?
Well, so it's a little complicated. I mean, I don't have any misgivings about them making an official game mode. I think that would be awesome, and the fact that it sounds like they are interested in doing that, it sounds fun. Like cool. Please do. I think that the question, there are two big questions on my mind. Conclave is balanced separately from the rest of the game, so would they balance it separately? You know. That matters for a variety of reasons. It could balance the S tier frames, but it would also potentially rebalance things that I don't think are bad at the moment. So, for example, Volt and Zephyr have basically the same speed, but Volt and well, that's true too. But Volt and Saren have basically the same speed, but Saren is dramatically more energy hungry. She just can't. She needs much more energy to maintain that speed, which isn't a problem in Driftframe because you get the starting energy from the plate, and then you can pick a Sahasa Kubro and it will just give you energy orbs. Or there's a few other solutions to just have an irrelevant amount of energy and it doesn't matter. But in Conclave, like in normal Conclave right now, you'll be familiar with the fact that your energy is quite limited. Like if that was the thing, you would not be able to, like Saren would get a lot worse because you would not be able to get. I'm imagining they might even go as far as like Mario Kart style item pickups, but they're energy orbs, and then like you'd have to hit them to go fast, and that would that might be fine, but it would change things a lot, you know.
Yeah. Cephalon
Sorry,
Smear
you were
shouting down 3, 2, 1 at like a starting line.
Yeah, so that would be an improvement. I think one good thing would be that you could formalize the start time. However, that leads me to a second bad thing. If it's not, you know, if it doesn't have servers, which Conclave, you know, it's not going to be good, you know, like because whoever's the host is just going to clean house, unless I mean, I wonder if that happens on my streams. And but it's bad, you know what I mean? Like that's not a positive at the very least.
Yeah.
I think our energy pads are a good solution, but I think a formal timer would be awesome. But if it doesn't have its own dedicated servers, which seems pretty unlikely, I'm not sure how workable it would be. Someone in chat mentions door lagging. Not usually too much of a problem, but there are situations where that has been an issue. That has happened to people before.
My Wi-Fi gets so bad sometimes where I'm like stuck in the room and I have to wait till somebody comes back into the room to open the door for me.
Yeah.
Awful. Sad days, sad
Um,
days.
the other thing is Pixels mentioned it. This thing about normalizing the movement. So like one of the interesting things to me about Driftframe is that because the game is sort of already meant to have speed as this meaningful element, it's relatively well balanced if you just modify a few things. There'd be advantages to it being formal, like you just can't use your operator, you just can't use the band frames. We'll get back to that in a sec, actually. But there are problems as well because a lot of the fun of Driftframe is, yeah, like modding and using your reflexes together can help you win. You don't have to just be really good at movement. It is a buildcraft game mode to some degree, with some frames more than others. It teaches you marginal benefit, and you get to use mods you already have to do something competitive. And I think that's a lot of the appeal for a lot of people. Like for me, I have my frames that are all kitted out, and I get to use them for co-op and for a competitive mode, which is not how Conclave works. The modding is totally different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, just to be clear, my answer to the question is like, yes, do it. No, I'm not sure it would be fun. Like I'm not. I think you'd have to basically normalize it like this. Like if they were to do, there's a mode you can queue up for that's maybe not even in Conclave, and it's like a normal mission, and it just forces an energy pad, locks your gear wheel, locks your operator. Like there are bans. We'll get back to that in a second again. And there's a countdown and you race. Like in other words, it's basically exactly the same thing as Driftframe, but it just forces you to do all the rules instead of having them be enforced. As far as I'm concerned, like that's pretty sweet. Like that sounds cool. You could even do other small things, like you can technically tie the capture target at the moment, and I don't see why not eliminate that. And extraction is a little unclean. Sometimes it's hard to know who got there first. You could formalize that. That seems doable. You could make the capture target not. You could make it kind of something else. Like you just have to like shoot a thing and then it's capturable, rather than it running, because it running is meaningless. Like you catch up to it at 1,000 miles per hour, it never moves and then it goes down. So they could kind of change that a little. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you get the point. I think the big thing is that this is going to sound harsh, but I don't know if developers balancing Driftframe as an official game mode would make a better meta than the one we have. Like and I don't mean that to be like a massive burn. I think it would legitimately be challenging. Like this is not so bad. You could make changes here and there if you wanted to balance it separately, but I don't know. So that's what I think. I definitely would like them to make it an official thing, because I don't see how it would unbecome possible to do it the way we already do it. So at the very least, we just lose nothing. I guess we lose development time on some other good game mode, but anyway, so I say do it. Am I sure it's going to be good? I don't know. We'll see.
Nice. All right, Logan.
All right.
Go at it.
All right. So, do you have any thoughts on racing on the new tile set that we just got with Deadlock?
Ooh, I just did that before my stream, and then this stream. Yeah, I don't have a ton to say. So the big thing is that the laser doors and stuff, typical of Corpus style sets, are a bit more prominent. I found. So it's more important. It's more important to
Yeah.
like roll a little more, but it's already really common to roll a ton in Driftframe. So I didn't think it was a huge deal. It does mean like the cadence of your movement matters a little more. I feel like if this is pretty minor, like I only thought of it because you asked, but it does mean that if you sprint on the ground rather than parkouring, you're at a slight advantage, because you can just at any moment you can stop. You can just roll and not get hit by a laser door. Whereas if you're parkouring, you're bullet jumping into a roll, bullet jumping into a roll, bullet jumping into a roll, and that little rhythm might get interrupted by a laser door, and that could slow you down. It's kind of minor. A lot of the things where you pick a track and it affects certain frames or certain builds more than others are very minor, though. Like it's not like they don't matter. races are often really close, but at the same time, like it's not a it's only going to make you like a second slower. That's just all you need. Yeah, but you have to do the melee slam and cancel into a roll. You can't. One big pitfall is sometimes when people look at the Driftframe tier list and we talk about Driftframe, people do this thing where they assume infinite player skill, and like that's just not real. Like that's true. There's a solution, but
Yeah, I didn't know there was
it's not free.
I didn't know
That's
until speedrunning Cephalon Capture that there was a melee cancel into a roll, and I was like, wow, this is suddenly a whole lot faster.
Yeah. And like it's not like that's irrelevant, just to say you can't assume that everyone that's just automatic. It's not.
Yeah, I don't
But-
even think I know how to do that.
Right before, or like as soon as you hit the ground, you just roll.
Yeah. And you can kind of cancel the slam and you don't get the
Yeah,
after
you
thing.
don't get the hard stop.
Okay. More you know.
Attack speed also makes that much faster. I have an attack speed ribbon on my Telus Bolt Ace for racing because I'm bad at
Ho, ho,
canceling it
ho.
reliably. And yeah, if you're a god, Gauss can melee cancel into his dash infinite. Yep, that's true. That's another thing too. But anyway,
Oh my
you get the
God.
point. So yeah, not a huge number of things. I do think that it is like many of the newer remastered tile sets, it is pretty streamlined. It has this very sleek appearance, and I do think that makes it more a little more straightforward, more reliable. There's less like janky corners you get stuck on. There are a few things. There are a couple sections of that tile that I'm still getting used to, but a lot of it's pretty fun. I don't have anything too great to say about it. I mean I really like it. It looks pretty. I think it's pretty normal for Driftframe. The only other thing is it isn't on many nodes. Like there's like only like one or two places that there is a capture mission that has the new tile set. I think it's like Phobos, or it's one of the moons, and then there might be one more place, but it's like very few places that have that tile set.
Yeah, but don't you guys just decide what map you're gonna do? Like, okay, like how do you decide what map you're gonna do?
Oh yeah, okay. So generally we let chat vote for the starting one, and then you get to choose which map we do next if you're in the last or tied for last.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Oh, okay.
That's
we'll
like
pick
the,
something.
that's like the last place starts at the front kind of thing for like the
Yeah,
key.
that's the idea, is that it's not a big advantage, but it's whatever we can give you, and
Mhm.
it can definitely be an advantage. And so
Especially if you definitely know that tile set.
right, or you're more comfortable there. That's a huge thing. I should have brought that up. Thank you.
No, I
Huge
mean,
thing
it's
is that
just
you can pick a tile you like more. Yeah,
popped in
or
my
like
head.
they're shorter ones. If you're Saren and you're energy hungry, you can pick Mantle Earth because it's really short. If you're Volt and you're fighting a Saren, you can pick Copernicus Lua because it's super long.
Ooh,
Like things like that.
counterplay. That's neat.
Fair.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Has anyone ever asked you to do a track tier list? Yes. I don't think there's a way to do it as a tier list though. Like I might just talk about them sometime. Yeah, that might be a Driftframe video this year. I try to do one every month or two, so it's not always about a frame. So yeah, we could do that for an upcoming one.
Be pretty sick. More drift frame. Fall deeper into the sin. Alright. So let's see. Checking what I have.
Do you want to do?
I can.
Do you want to do the second last and then our final question?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Alright, so back to some quick content creator stuff. How often do you upload content to YouTube versus how often do you stream? And if you prefer which one do you like? If you prefer one service over the other, which one do you prefer?
Twitch overall by a lot, but I think it's just the way I use it. Like I very much view streaming as like a break, whereas YouTube is the thing I don't like about doing this is editing, and anything that isn't directly giving my idea to people, are hearing what other people think about a thing I'm presenting as a topic, or hearing what the community wants to talk about, or stuff like that. I don't like as much. Like, that's why I'm doing this. I don't I don't like editing. I'm not interested in editing. You can tell in all of my content because I basically don't edit, and I so that's not, I view that as more work, but it's very fulfilling to upload a YouTube video. YouTube is the more problematic of the two platforms by a country mile as well. Twitch is much more streamlined. A big plus on Twitch is that you don't have to worry about the algorithm, because there basically isn't one. You're doing basically as well as you are, because something, what time you're streaming, and societal pressure, and then where you are in the directory. That's basically it. And there's no guessing about why is something doing how it is. I'll pretty much always know that's why. Whereas on YouTube, things can just randomly die. If you don't upload videos for a while, then YouTube biases your content less favorably because they think your channel's dead, and they think it's a bit of a risk to recommend your videos because you can't follow it up, or they don't know if you can follow it up. So that means if you take an absence from Twitch, sure, people get used to regular viewing. You're gonna lose some people, but nothing is like stopping you from succeeding when you come back. Does that make sense? Whereas
Yeah.
on YouTube, when you take a break from making videos and uploading, YouTube like deliberately stops you from doing better for a little while,
Mhm.
which that can be a lot of pressure, because it means you really can't just stop. I was at the dentist today, and my dentist asked me when I take a vacation, and I said, well, for streaming, you take a break. For YouTube, you work harder for 3 weeks to earn a vacation by uploading content, preloaded for 3 weeks, and then you take a vacation while it's going, to take a break from the crunch from the 3 weeks of uploaded content.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, this year I've been pretty scattered on YouTube because there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on with the game. Status revised update, I feel kind of ruined a greatly worsened a lot of things about the game. And I had a lot of trouble adapting the content I was planning to make to that. My desired schedule, which is how I'm going to weasel my way out of this one, is about 1 week, one video a week on the main channel, and about 4 streams a week. So streaming slightly more days than I'm not streaming, and about 1 video a week. And then on the Parlay channel, that second channel for Patreon and user suggested content I was talking about, that channel can have videos as often as every day. It depends how many people are asking for them, and if I have some meme that I'm doing, like the Every Frame is the Best Frame series. So for a little while, that channel will have a video every day, probably for the next 2 months or so.
Wow.
And that's not challenging because I'm gonna, on this Monday, I'm gonna preload 14 videos and then just schedule them all, and then I won't do any work on that channel for 2 weeks. And so it's not a big deal, just simply because I've gotten comfortable with that format. So I mean, the upshot of not editing a lot is that I don't edit a lot, and so the video has to be pretty good before I edit it, or I at least have to be happy with it before I edit it. So that's about what it is. About a 1 video a week on the main channel is probably legitimately my average, but also my desired average. And then streaming slightly more days than I'm not. So 4 days, it feels pretty good right now. And then the second channel, as much as I can make content. Every day, usually.
Every day. Heck yeah.
Okay.
All right. Only a couple more questions for you. As someone who's playing the game often, how do you feel about the latest updates, and how DE has handled the updates, along with any criticism about the updates?
Deadlock is real good. Let me tell you, that's real good. I was sponsored to do 2 streams of Deadlock, to play all the content live for 2 4-hour streams.
Wow.
I did get paid to do that. I didn't get paid to say that, but I did get paid to do that. And I really liked it. It was a really classic Warframe update. I had a viewer that said they thought it was it's just a good throwback classic Warframe update where they made a new frame, they made a new quest, They made a new map, they made some new weapons, and it was all just good, you know. A lot of people don't love the Granum Void mode, but
I think it should be endless, and you should get tier scaling rewards. But that rewards are a big issue with Warframe in general.
I think they either need to make it more committed to like kind of only be a Protea farm and streamline it for that, or do what you just said. I agree. I think it has an identity crisis where it's like a little bit too much of a thing about that tile set
It
for
could
it to
be
not have more to it. You
it
know?
could be really fun for endurance missions.
Yeah, potentially.
The
Rewards.
the time limit, and you could like maybe only cap it at a max of 60 seconds.
Right.
I think that
Yeah,
could
I
be
see.
really
That
neat.
could be fun. I
Could
did
be
like I
chaos.
like that mode,
I like it.
I have fun with it.
but I get why people don't. I know for a lot of people they've been sort of forced to grind it to death.
Yeah,
And
I
so
grinded it to death.
Yeah, jeez.
um so I like that. Another thing too is that I just Status Revised was such an atrocious update in my opinion.
Why?
In my opinion, whoa.
Oh, he got
No, no, no,
angry.
no. I
Uh-oh.
No,
I
no, no,
wasn't
no,
trying to get
not at
angry. I
all.
was just trying to interject like a reason, like why do
No,
you think it was bad?
by all means, I hope you know I would explain that before, but with I wouldn't say that without explaining it. But of course, no. Yeah, a lot of reasons. It was an update where I feel that our developers listened too much to what the community wanted and didn't really think enough. It's that balance I mentioned before about as an entertainer, you need to balance what the audience wants and what you think about what the audience could want or what could benefit them, or sometimes to know that what the audience wants can be kind of wrong, like it can be off. And I think that what happened is that our developers listened too much to what people say they want and think is true about the game and made changes to not to the actual game but to the game people think the way people think the game is. And you might be saying, is that just as good? But I think the result is that status, for example, like status effect balance got totally messed up because the community thought the only good thing was corrosive. Viral and gas were also viable and competitive, but people didn't know. And instead of making that more clear or maybe making the payoff a bit higher or doing something like that, they instead skewed the meta toward one specific thing, toward viral. There were a few other things, like I thought it was really good that they cleaned up how a lot of statuses were implemented. Like gas was really confusing the way it did damage. It inflicted toxin procs, that was inconsistent. It scaled off your toxin mods, that was inconsistent. But when they removed and simplified all that stuff, they didn't even bother doing the simple calculator math on like what the damage would end up being and restore it at least to what it was before, which caused it to be unintentionally nerfed, probably unintentionally nerfed into the ground. It wasn't considered being good before, so I don't know why they would nerf it. And there's some other things like corrosive, I think, is in a weird place because it's not bad. It's just kind of viral is like a little better at most levels that we're fighting. And so that was all weird. And then the self-damage thing. Self-damage was bad in the form we had it before because it interrupted gameplay. You know, you would be parkouring around and suddenly you one-shot get killed by your own weapon, which doesn't feel good. You want gameplay interruptions that you can respond to, but making it a stagger doesn't change that. You get staggered and gameplay is interrupted. Dying is not that big a deal in Warframe. So dying and getting staggered are like almost the same thing. I know that might sound silly, but like the result is it stops you, you know? And I think that it would
Yeah.
have been better to balance self-damage, to moderate it, but the community wanted it gone. And I have a lot of respect for them listening to the community wanting it gone, but I think that in the process, I hope it makes sense how I feel like they kind of neglected their own good design decision to balance those explosive weapons with some self damage. And they kind of threw out that good design thinking because the community said they wanted something different instead of marrying the two things. Community doesn't like to say to self damage. because it's bad. Let's use our design philosophies and make it better, So I hope that makes sense. There's other things.
Yeah.
Those are the big things. I just think it was coming from a place of wanting to make the community feel better about the game, coming off of Railjack stuff, but it ended up being an update that I think listened too much to the community and didn't really have like developers behind it, like balancing behind it. And I know that they're aware of that and they'll do it differently in the future, but it puts a lot of players out because the meta isn't great now. It's not exciting to build around now for a lot of people, and even if it is, it's going to change and your investment undercut. So I don't know. I think that they've done a great job following it up with awesome content. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it was really bad, very very neglectful. I feel like so much of it, especially viral, especially gas, you could so easily have just gone into a game and used the element, and you would instantly think, oh, this is wrong, we should balance this differently. I feel like almost even looking at the numbers, I thought, wait a minute, so viral is no worse than before and now it stacks, that nothing else is good. Like without it, and then sure enough you go into the game and that lined up. So I'm sure they'll do better in the future. I just that was an oopsie, I feel. That being said, Deadlock Protocol has been pretty spicy. And I really like Protea. I've liked a lot of the design of the new frames recent years. And I do like the new weapons a lot. It was such an update full of weapons that gave me childlike joy and felt great and had mechanics and audio design. That was so satisfying. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been a mixed bag, if I had to say, in short. which
Childlike
is
joy
what I
is
just
something
did. That
we
was
all
short.
need at a time like this.
An inshore.
All right. So our last question for you today is we ask this for anyone who comes onto our stream. It's our obligatory would you recommend this game to a friend question. We had it phrased differently for a while, like is Warframe a good game? But like that's kind of when you ask it like in such a blunt way like that, it just doesn't, it feels harder to answer than like would you want one of your good friends to play this game. So
oh
I
man,
guess
we gotta show them the 4,000 hours. You've
yeah.
Steam asked me earlier this year, you've played for 4,000 hours, would you recommend this game to other players? Yes, no, and then there was an option that said maybe later. Like, how much later? When are you gonna ask again, Steam?
One of these days I'll get around.
One of these, they're like, we'll come back in a couple thousand hours, it's fine.
We'll come back in a couple thousand hours.
2,000 more and I'll see how I like the game.
I haven't decided yet. I would. I have. I think that at the end of the game, let's the word end game, let's just forget. But there's, like many games like this, there's a very distinct pair of phases. There's the sort of early thing, or like the unlocking stage, maybe it's better to call it. Lots of games have it like that, where you unlock stuff. Games like Hades have stuff like that, where you're unlocking the content at the beginning of the game, and then once you have all the options, or most of the options, the sort of another game begins, where you're build crafting and choosing between the options and playing whatever is at the end of the game. And I think that it's easy for me to say I would recommend Warframe, because that beginning part of the game, I think, is a largely unmitigated success. Like, there's problems, but it's fun. Like, there's a sense of abandon and adventure and excitement to having all these new weapons and all these new frames. And there's a lot. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of quest content. If you play the game as a single player game and you play mostly the fully realized quests, I think that it's a pretty solid single player game with an interesting, weirdly told story, but interesting story, and very, very good amounts of choice and variety, and so many of the weapons are completely different from each other. I think that part is just very solid. I have no trouble. It's free. It's legitimately pretty free. You don't have to. You're not missing much if you don't pay. Except the fashion frame, and then we get to the end of the game, and you know, I mean, yeah, like the fashion frame part is pretty pay to win.
Tenno Gen.
Yes.
Honestly,
The people making the money off of that is so exciting to me. How many people's career is like selling Tenno Gen? It's so glorious.
Yeah, man, I was thinking that maybe we could try to get Faven or someone on the show to talk about Tenno Gen.
Yeah, that would be spicy.
That'd be really neat.
The Tenno Gen program is fascinating. I always, whenever Taylor and I are talking about the work stuff, she's always like, I this is just like, it's like people just vomiting art at me constantly, which is awesome. And I guess I'm just trying to say that I think that the end of the game, I like it, but for me, I mean, my end game for Warframe is making build videos. That is not the intended end of the game, you know?
Yeah.
And I do think, like many games of its ilk, it has serious problems with its progression at the end of the game. I don't know, they feel solvable, and I feel like that becomes a wall where like that's your whole experience, you're not discovering anymore. After a long time, like I would sign up for it, even if, you know, a lot of people don't spend 4K hours with the game. We the people talking right now are the people that do. Most people don't, and so if that's going to be okay, if 100 hours of awesome content is going to be fun for you, which like I think it is, I think that's an easy recommendation. I think the place where it gets complicated is if you were to say, would you recommend other people play it as much as you did? I would say, I don't know. That's hard.
That's up to you, yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I think there are reasons that are not just me that I enjoyed it, but I had problems with it. I don't know, you know, it wasn't perfect. So, yeah. Would you all recommend?
I would. I try to get my friends to play it all the time.
Well, okay.
Hence why I play
I want
it.
more
I was
people
gonna
to.
say, well, hold on. Yeah.
I want more people to play it with me.
I say I would. I've recommended it to at least 3 friends, and friends that like I played either WoW or Diablo with, and in WoW I have closer to 5K hours, and in Diablo I have more than this. So it's like my friends are like bigger nerds, same tier if not bigger nerds than me. So it's like they'd be fine with the grind. And I had one friend that played it, and then I had another friend that came over and he like saw me fishing, and he's like, "Okay, so this is a good game." He knew right away.
It's one of those, yeah.
The mini games where it's really at.
The only true game to play is Frame Fighter, you guys.
Wormius.
Happy Zephyr.
Yeah, Flappy Zephyr isn't too bad.
Oh, God. Well, that's our last question for you. Thank you for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, thanks a ton. It really means a lot to us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me and listening to my overwrought explanations of everything.
No,
That's exactly what we
loved
wanted.
having you on.
Absolutely.
We were saying in the chat that if I don't give you a paragraph as an answer, then I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, I see. Well, we appreciate your paragraphs. If you guys aren't already subscribed to XandyPants, go subscribe to his YouTube, follow his Twitch.
Yes.
You have a Discord server, right?
I do.
Go join his Discord server.
Go join the Discord server.
Go follow him everywhere. He's a fun guy who started with Conclave and goes vroom vroom with Warframes. So
the dark times of my beginning streaming with Conclave. I didn't begin with Conclave, but it was one of the first things that caught on. That's very true. I can't believe that happened. Thank you for remembering that, so I can relive the horror of my Conclave origins.
The horror.
You're welcome. Make sure to go check out Overly Dramatic Driftframe. It is horribly underviewed.
That's on Joey's channel, but you could find that through mine.
Yeah. So go check things out. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, you're all gonna keep streaming, right?
Oh yeah, we have. Okay, so we usually cut off at 2 hours, but we still have another topic, and we're already halfway to the 2.5 hour mark. So we're just gonna finish the stream. We'll be streaming for probably I'd be willing to say another
Wait 20 minutes.
Oh no.
20, 30, maybe even 45 if
No.
we're that problematic.
Maybe another 20 minutes so Logan can watch Harry Potter.
I'm looking forward to hearing you're talking about the Warframe Partner Program thing, right?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
gonna ask you about it, and then
But
we
you
all
need
ran
to-
out of time.
No, I mean we can quickly talk. I probably can't savor the whole thing, but we can very quick. I mean, if you have a question about it, I don't have a whole lot to say. I feel like because it has been a very long running program that I feel like has been pretty good overall. I'll get back to that. I totally get that they want to refresh it. You know, one of the big things about Warframe and Digital Extremes is, as developers, is that they're willing to overhaul, and so it's totally expected that they would want to overhaul. They've overhauled basically everything, so why not the Warframe Partner Program?
Yeah.
And they, you know, they're lowering the entry requirements, so people are going to be able to get in if they were in before, unless there is some reason they wouldn't. So I feel like a lot of the discussion seems to be around like people view it as a purge, like they want to leave out people they don't want in it, or people that have been in it for a while but are not maybe relevant anymore or something.
Do you think it's bad that they might do that?
I don't know.
Like take out partners that, you know, joined up with the game when PoE released because Warframe asked them to, and then never stream the game again afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I feel is that there's so many people that I totally understand how, you know, I would really rather that they talk to the person individually. And if there are people in the community that they feel are upsetting them or are toxic, I think they should tell them. I don't think they should like backhandedly do the thing. But I totally understand that the Warframe Partner Program is fairly large, and like there's not, you know, the few people at Digital Extremes that run the Warframe Partner Program, like it's a lot of work. Like I've spent a decent amount of time with these people, and it's a lot of work. So I totally understand that it's hard to do that. So overall, I sort of feel like a little nebulous about it. I think it may be necessary and healthy overall, but in an ideal world, it would be nice to confront those issues so that they don't just crop up again. Is where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's been most of the negative feedback about the Warframe Partner Program, besides the stuff we just addressed, has been about what I consider to be very fringe aspects of it, like the Discord server not being the most productive or healthy, but just don't use it. Like, is that really a major part of the program? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm biased, but
I think it has to do more so with the fact that D doesn't really listen to the suggestions that, you know, the partners make. From what
Or
I
at
have
least
seen
they
from
feel
different
like they're not
videos,
being
and yeah,
listened to.
or at least even if they are being listened to, they feel like they aren't being listened to.
yeah, which is totally that's a good thing to bring up. And I guess I just feel like that may be more in, to me, it's more in the category of kind of a misunderstanding or an assumption about the program, where it, you know, I do think Digital Extremes needs to move forward with changes to the way they listen to community feedback, which I talked about before. I think there's a lot of collateral damage there with just listening to some random dude on the forums rather than like someone maybe more qualified to give feedback about the game. But who
Mm-hmm.
do you listen to? You know, you being a Warframe partner doesn't prove your knowledge of the game. Nothing proves your knowledge of the game, really. And so it's kind of an unsolvable problem. And so I understand that. I see what you mean. That's a good point, though. It's true that for a lot of people, it's about being heard. And I do think it would be good if that was incorporated more in the future. We don't know, it won't be. It's possible that they will find a way to, you know, make a bucket for people for feedback, not just like that doesn't necessarily mean the Warframe partner bucket, you know. So I think the thing I like the most is that it sounds like they're trying to make many different offerings rather than just one offering that tries to cater to everything. They're decoupling glyphs from the Warframe Partner Program and making a new program for creators, art creators rather than video content creators. I think that's a solid decision overall. Again, it's the kind of thing like maybe this won't age well and in the future it won't go well, but I feel like those are good philosophies if that is what's going to happen.
What do you think the What do you think the changes to the criteria are gonna be?
Probably mostly, they kind of have number benchmarks at the moment.
Yeah, it was like what 3,000 subscribers and 5,000 followers on Twitch or something like that.
The Twitch one, I think it's lower. I think it's like 1,000 on
Oh, okay.
Twitch.
Because
I want to
I just
say.
Twitch was like really like out there for Twitch kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and
Especially
even
with
like,
the Warframe viewer base, when
yeah,
you see partners
yes.
only dragging in maybe 100 average viewers.
Yeah, no, whatever the exact numbers are, you're absolutely right that it's much harder on Twitch than on YouTube. It's like basically impossible on Twitch.
Yeah,
It's really clever on YouTube.
every
Um,
content creator I've asked has said, you guys have a YouTube, and we're like, yeah, we put our VODs up there, and they're like, yeah, it's a lot easier to
yeah,
grow on YouTube than it is on Twitch.
it is. Yeah, I mean for anything, but especially the Warframe directory is
Awful.
a tighter knit and dedicated group rather than this broad audience base. So.
Hmm.
Yeah. What will they make the requirements? I mean, I think basically they're just going to aggressively lower the numbers. And
I hope so.
if I
Maybe.
had to say, I have a feeling it's going to be more like they're just going to match the qualities that you need to be an affiliate on Twitch or get monetized on YouTube. I feel like that is the direction they're going in, is sort of like minimum viable requirements. I think that a signature thing to remember about the way that the Warframe Partner Program is run is that you can have a partnership program that's about quality or quantity, and that might sound worse than it is. There's no shame in having a quantity approach. And the Warframe Partner Program has always been on the quantity side. So this seems to be embracing that direction further, which I think is good. I think the problem is doing it halfway.
Yeah.
And if they want to include everyone who is making stuff for their game, this sounds like the way to do it. So we'll have to see. I would predict, again, basically like minimum viable. What's the least we can allow for it to be meaningful content in the community? But I don't know. I mean, I look forward to applying so I can find out.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll be right up there
Yeah, maybe
alongside
maybe
you.
a little Twitch affiliate, and
Hopefully.
you can do it.
Get
we
there.
might have what affiliate is when you can sub, right?
Yes,
I think
you can
we
start
hit that
making
goal
money.
tonight with your raid.
But I was gonna say you legitimately
Thank
might
you.
have.
Because
Thank you
because
for
I
your
know
raid.
Yeah, no, thank
we
you
were
for
like
having me.
we were like 8 followers away, and then we just got like 10 or 20
We're
or
at
so.
54. Heck
Hell
yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, Pixel.
Anyway, folks from Micro Audience, you gotta go check them out on YouTube too, because really it's true. Like it takes a village of different platforms. It's not gonna be enough in one place. So let's get the ball rolling, huh?
Yeah, we want to put
where's
we want to put like our interviews up, and like our VODs, but we also want to put up some just funny content that we do about Warframe, like maybe a meme tier list, or fishing rod only, Lonzo fishing spear only, sergeant runs.
Here only.
Oh, we gotta do. Have you seen Driftframe relay racing?
No.
No,
Oh,
but I'm
go to the
intrigued.
Driftframe tier list. Anyway, in the Driftframe playlist, there's a video called Driftframe Relay Racing that is
Yes, I have. Okay, that is exact. Yeah. You run around the relay. Yes.
Run around the relay.
Oh.
And all the tech doesn't work except for like 2 things.
Except for the arcane helmets.
The fucking arcanes, yeah.
It makes Nick's S tier.
Literally
And like
relay racing.
Saren is still good because she does have an arcane helmet for parkour velocity.
Yeah.
Buried deep inside the.
It took me a minute. Okay. Real quick on racing. What do you think of K drives?
Oh man. Oh, it's such a shame. I feel like there could totally be something there.
Okay, I've been trying to put something together for a while where it's like a K drive lockpin course on like Plains of Eidolon, now that they have like the really drawn out pathways.
Yeah, and they're like long caves that can work okay.
I think
Yeah,
I think something could come from that.
It's something that's been floated a lot of times. I also think that it's more possible on K drives to do a less strict race where like you don't like the lock pins. It's hard to enforce, but you can start in a cave and end in a cave, and then you have to turn plenty, and you have no choice. There's no refereeing about it. And even going straight from the end of one cave to the beginning of another, in the Orvalis, it's not so easy to just go straight on a cave drive. Like you do have to go around some obstacles. So I agree. I think it is probably possible to make an interesting track there. I think the thing keeping it from being easy, we should obviously do that, instant success, is that the unlike with Driftframe, the buildup is kind of hard. Like you have to unlock a lot of stuff, or you're just slower, period, than everybody
Yeah,
else.
I know. Like the
And so that
boost
makes it
mod
hard.
is like last year. I caved and just bought them off the market.
Yeah. So
Grinding it
I mean,
wasn't
I know the
fun.
feeling. I totally not something to be abandoned. Just to say there are some roadblocks for sure. Next time we'll have to talk about my RC car racing mode with Octavia and her augment for her second ability that lets you direct
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
like a lot of
baby.
fun.
it. It's really
there any-
stupid, but it sounds really fun.
Oh, sorry, Siri.
I think
Is
next
there
time
any
we should
room-
also do a meatball race.
Yes.
We did. Oh, we got to do the meatball. Okay, all right. This is it's gonna be forever. I'll leave you now. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you
the
for
rest of
coming
this.
on.
Thank you
Thank you
so much for
coming
coming. It means a
on.
lot to us.
Yeah.
Really great to have you. Good little
Yeah.
bant back and forth.
It was
Yeah.
great to be hosted by you. Thanks and have a good night.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh,
All right. So that was XandyPants. Go subscribe, follow, check him out if you haven't already checked him out. Although I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are, from his stream. We usually stop at 2 hours, but we got a little bit more to talk about, and that is just creator program in terms of people who, aren't already in the partner program, which is us. It's not like we started this stream with the intention to eventually become Warframe partners or something like that. We're not here to be like internet famous or whatever, poggers. No, absolutely not. But we started with like doing fashion frame contests. Like
we still do
very
them.
we still do them.
We do them
We
every
still
other
do them a lot.
week.
Jason, do you have any intention
Yes,
of eating
I
your pizza?
really want to eat my pizza, and I didn't expect this to be 2.5 hours long.
I did. I wrote a lot of questions.
I am really hungry
Yeah.
right now, man.
Clout chat. But we started and we still do fashion frame. And I feel like it means a lot, or some people, or a lot to some people in our community, where they will be able to, be part of this partner program.
For making Captura content.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them really like to do Capturas, and they do amazing work.
Yeah,
And they just they
very
don't
talented
meet
people.
the qualifications for like a Warframe partner because of the way that Twitch and YouTube work. It's not really the kind of content that you can do. But the creator program is going to open it up to podcasts. I think are already open to it, but fan artists, Captura artists, all the niche stuff that wouldn't really have a place on YouTube or Twitch are now going to have a chance to join the creator program, which I think is really cool.
Because even if it's photos or videos or stuff that like features that, it's still a big part of the community. Like Driftframe may not be like something official, may not be like playing the game as like intended, but it's still like a decent part of the community. Captura is a big part of the community. Fashion, I guess even fashion frame itself is a pretty decent part.
Yeah, there's
endurance
people...
runs, all kinds of stuff are just important, and I guess it feels good that they're going to be included this time around.
It's hard because a lot of people in our community, since we started out with fashion frame contests, a lot of them do fashion, and a lot of them don't play the game. They just do fashion and Captura. That's all they do. They'll play the game to get cosmetics, and that's it.
Which is
Which isn't.
understandable.
It's
I can
not a bad thing.
understand.
It's making your own kind of content for a game that might be running out of content for you.
And that's fine, but Warframe, well, DE didn't necessarily like prepare for that. Speaking of our community, if you're still hanging around, you should check out our Discord. We sit around and our meme chat is pretty lit.
Yeah.
But
But
I think personally that we're definitely going to try for the partner program, right? We're gonna try to get there, or I guess creator program now.
Yeah, I would love to see what the actual requirements are, and I want to expand the YouTube a little bit more.
Yeah. How many of the current, or like at least past partners, do you think are going to reapply for this new program?
I think a lot of the active ones will, but not the. But I don't think we'll hear from a lot of the partners just because of, like I said, they joined around PoE, got sponsored to play the game, and slapped that partner badge on, and then that was it. They didn't play the game after that.
It was kind of funny because I was going through YouTube, and one of my recommendeds was like, I am no longer a Warframe partner.
Not
very
clickbait.
not clickbait, totally.
I'm pretty sure that's the video.
And it kind of makes me think, like, are partners going to rejoin the program under, I guess, the title of creator, or is it going to be just a whole new wave of people that Warframe kind of just like backs?
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Some people might take this as their opportunity to, feel, the chains unshackled, I'm free kind of thing, and part ways with the game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. This will be like people who weren't interested in it anymore but are still a partner. This is probably a good time for them to
people who felt
personally
like obligated to remain in the program no longer need to feel that way because they're no longer tied to the game.
They can make one rant video that's 4 minutes a week.
But
names, that's just a vague description.
I guess we'll see where it goes. I know for sure that we are definitely not out of Warframe content yet, and we're definitely going to try to upload more to YouTube and do Twitch streams. I just do worry that the requirements are supposed to be overall easier, but we're still starting out, and it's still going to be like a big milestone to get there. And I feel like that's the case for anybody aspiring to be some sort of partner, or I guess I can keep calling partners, I guess, creators, in like for this game. It's that first milestone of getting past it with a niche community that has so many giants that dominate it already. Like, again, as Jason said earlier, we were shocked we even got Xandy to get on the show.
I got on the call with him and he joined, and I wasn't. I honestly, the first thing I said was, I didn't really expect to get this far, and I said, yeah, just like that old SpongeBob meme of Plankton. I don't know. I didn't really expect to get this far.
That one. It's we didn't
that's
really
honestly
expect
how
to
I
get
felt.
there. And we don't really expect, with our quick teaser of a different special guest coming on next week. Ooh. But yeah, it's a hurdle we have to climb. To the chat, I guess, are there any of you, since a lot of you are new, are there any of you that are like creators yourselves and you're like, you want to see what this new creator program has for you, or are you just like indifferent about it? For anybody in the chat who makes some sort of content.
Yeah, a fellow content creator.
Yeah.
Fellow content creator. We just stream, y'all. We stream and have the VODs.
We just stream and I edit the VODs for you.
We just talk about the game.
And that's
all we do. This is our gameplay. I hope you guys
just
like it.
And hope you vibe with it, man.
Yeah, we know you're not a Warframe content creator.
Yeah, how dare you, Murphy?
Yeah, we know you're not a Warframe content creator, but I feel like you also understand the like trying to get up bigger base when you're just starting out on like Twitch or something like that, or when you're just starting to add videos on your YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the grind to get there is kind of difficult. But then again, we are just kind of doing it for fun, so I guess if we stop having fun, then we'll start aiming for the internet famous status.
Yeah, so
but
who knows?
that's all we really have for the creator program. We don't have too much information about it yet, but we're hoping for it to come out soon, or at least the new program launches in July, right?
Yes.
July, August. Okay.
Sometime in the summer.
Yeah. But I think with that, that's pretty much the end of our stream. Thank you to everyone who came over and raided with Xandy. It means a lot to
it
us.
means a lot to us. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging.
Our next stream is going to be next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Same time.
Same time.
We got another special guest joining us, so you guys should totally check it out.
And we have our bi-weekly, that's the word. Captura contest that we do.
No, not Captura, just fashion.
Not Captura, just fashion.
Arsenal shots.
Arsenal shots this week of a different theme for our Tenno's Next Top Model, and the theme is currently syndicates, right?
Any syndicate, yep. I've gotten a Cephalon Samaris submission.
Ooh. But yeah, so syndicates, if you want to know more about that, see our updates, you can follow us on Twitter. We have an Instagram, which we need to really update that lower section, don't we?
Yeah,
follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, join our Discord server. It's fun. And
yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We like to hang out in the general chat and just chill and talk to you guys.
Yeah, especially after shows.
And if you guys like fashion, you know, the fashion contests are open to anyone, any platform. And if we can't get you plat on that platform automatically, then we will figure something out, of course.
Yeah, if we didn't mention, there's a plat prize for that, so even if you don't really care, you have a chance to win platinum.
Yeah.
But if that's all for our stream, we will see you guys next week. Make sure you check out that underrated
XandyPants and Joey Zero video, Driftframe, overly dramatic Driftframe.
Yeah, please. Yeah, help the homie out. And if that's it, I guess take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. This was episode 9.
Episode 9. It's hard to imagine how far we've come.
And only 9 episodes, I guess. All right. Have a good weekend,
one, everyone.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you for the Cephalon Joke-a-thon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.